It was it's one of the big Megatrons.
Frenzy
that was supposed
Freestyle,
to...
we're live.
Yeah. This guy was supposed to win, but he didn't. I don't support that. He's angry about it. That's how we start.
Well, for first comment of the evening, Professor D says my team will win.
Ha ha ha
Will
ha!
it now?
No.
I had I was doing a photo shoot earlier because my latest thing is that I'm going to be doing on Monday is a non-bot one, the remastered Blue Ranger. And I just grabbed any Transformer that looked vaguely like a rubber suit monster from that show and just had him like beating him up as part of the photo shoot. So I'm like, Skullgrin looks like he could be on that show. So let's do some photos with them together. And who else did I grab? I grabbed Inferno because I'm like, all right, big yelling ant guy. This could pass for a rubber suit guy for him to fight. You know, just anybody that kind of fit. So I got a bunch of people all over my desk from that still. Here's RatTrap, who we all know would actually clear everybody in this competition.
Someone's salty.
Oh, yeah. It's bad for my blood pressure. That's how salty I can get about it.
Those guys.
As we welcome everyone for the third and final round of our draft picks that we've done for the last 2 weeks. Where last week ToyFax won, and he's actually not feeling well, so he won't be joining us this evening. So it was between ToyFax and YeahBoy. ToyFax won. Fair or Courage versus myself. Versus Magnus, where Magnus won. And ToyWarp versus myself, where ToyWarp won. And we still have TF Johnny versus Iceman, Charlie versus Shiva Kobe, and Steven versus Cyclonus. So that will be our final round, and we'll see who will win the complete draft picks for this session.
Hopefully I'm up next, because I don't know how long I could be on. Once I finish charging, we're going to hit the road.
Actually, how long does what's the charging time for those vehicles?
So this is a level 3 charger. It's considered a fast charger, and I was at 10% or so when I got here.
Okay.
I've been here like 20 minutes, like at 40-ish percent. So probably about 40 minutes, probably 0 to 80%.
Okay. And what's the I guess the range, like the mileage range?
So my car, I have a Mustang electric car, and the range, and
Night Viper
makes a difference. It's 225, I think, which isn't really high because you can get like Teslas that are like 300 plus. But it works. I live in the city. I bump around the city, man. So.
Okay. I mean, I was surprised with that just from a conversation I had with someone else in terms of the range of electric vehicles, and they said the complete range they get on a full charge is about the same as just like a tank of gas. So I would have been at the assumption of, being an EV vehicle, it should have a longer range than a tank of gas.
Well, one thing I've had this for 3 months now, and one thing I can see, there's definitely a correlation. Between combustible engines and EVs with style of driving. So if I'm on a highway, it's more efficient, rather than being in the city and kind of bumping around and
right.
Going. I definitely. So I've noticed that for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
I love all these. I love obscure beast era basics, and you just been showing them off up there in the corner.
Who is that? The thing was weird.
Beast Machines, Night Viper.
Yeah. Pretty much from the start of Beast Wars to the end of Beast Machines, they just make little basic guys, and I think they were like the perfect Transformers, basically. Because the RatTrap that I keep waving around was one of them too, because they're bigger than a core guy is these days, but they're smaller than a deluxe. They got the ball joints, they got like an accessory or two. It really just had everything. Night Viper's just from the same lineage.
Cool. But Calvin says that his says my phone is acting up. I'm in a little signal area. So hopefully he's able to join in. And ToyWarp in the comments is directing this to you, to TF Johnny. He said, did he say a Mach-E Mustang?
Yes.
Cool.
Trying to see if I can set something up here. Get a good desk view. Okay. Because I managed to find a Legacy Evolution Tarn right here, which I thought I missed out on this guy because all the online pre-orders came and went and he was sold out everywhere. But no, I managed to locate one and I've been waiting for that for a long time, so I'm just gonna pop them open. And I thought I had scissors with me, but I don't, so this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, because I mean the demand for Tarn was pretty up there. Like once the toy.
Oh yeah. Everybody, like, first of all, you got people. Not to sound like I'm throwing stones, but you have people like Orlotti who've never read Lost Light who just like Tarn, and then you have the actual Lost Light fans, which are like a big subset of people. There's a bunch of fans that have just read that and nobody else. Oh hey, Insecticon.
Yeah, him and
so, yeah, this guy was
Transmetal
in
Translist were the only Beast War bots I ever drew in grade school.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Johnny, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, it's funny that, as Fear mentioned, in terms of like the two sides of fans for Tarn. I only knew of Tarn maybe like within the last 2 years, and it was Mike Orlotti who mentioned it to me, and then I looked him up on YouTube and found like 2 different angles or perspectives in how they describe Tarn and his division. And I found he's a pretty cool character, and the toy actually does justice for the character.
Oh yeah, this is just like Gihaxus, who's actually a little bit behind me over there. A comics guy that's never gotten his own figure before, so that's also kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, surprising. Gihaxus, the character's I'd say almost 30, at least 30 years old, but only from the comic book.
Well, they had that twirling turdy of him, but it looked like an IDW bright orange star screen, Armada star screen.
Yeah, so the one they just did in Legacy down here is first time he got one that actually looked like he did back in his original appearances in Generation 2.
Right. Johnny, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that Legacy Tarn is definitely one of the best Legacy releases so far, in my opinion. I think it's outstanding. I love it.
You know what I wish? Like, I never bought the figure. I was back in a previous life when I was doing reviews on a different website. I was loaned a copy of the Mastermind Creations version of Tarn from like a decade ago. Same size. It was like the size of a mainline Voyager. I forget what the figure's like fake name was. Mastermind
Coulter.
Creations. Yeah, it was Coulter. Yeah. And I would really love to do a side-by-side, to see how the actual official one all these years later stacks up. Because it was like the same scale as this guy, like the same size.
It is. No, it's a little bigger. I have both of them. It's a little bigger than that. But they're comparable, man. They're comparable.
Yeah, you should do a comparison then.
Better, more premium, right? But for what you paid for the Legacy figure in comparison, it stacks up, I think.
Yeah, because I just remember when I handled it back in the day saying, this feels like this could pass for like a really good official Voyager class figure. It just has a few literally sharp edges that you would never see on an actual release, and that was about it. I'm just dangerously cutting threads with an X-Acto knife as I go. See how
ToyWarp for me. Quietly hiding in the background. How's it going?
Yeah,
Johnny,
you're like in the shadows.
Yeah, I lost my light for the night. But Johnny, you lost some respect points, man. Gotta say.
Oh, here we go.
I have a video over on Cruisers Motorsports of my top 5 most hated cars, and the Mach-E happens to be on that list.
Is it number one?
It's not number 1.
Okay.
But is it
But
that
it happens-
debate? Is it that debate where it's like, you know, Mustangs and I think certain pickup trucks are
It's
not
kind of
allowed to be
sacrilege. It's
electric?
sacrilege to musclehead.
Yes,
guys.
it's absolute. Yeah, it's absolute sacrilege because you know the Mustang is supposed to be a car, not a
look at
crossover.
Look at it, man.
I have a hard time looking at it.
Is that
actually,
a car to you?
no, it's not a car. It's a crossover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So honestly, I mean, I want an electric vehicle, and I'm 6'4". I'm a big guy, and the thing has 1 minute, and I didn't want to test it. You know what I mean? So settle with the Mach-E.
What happened to 6'4.5"?
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, if anything, I'm probably shrinking because I'm getting old. But, yeah.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm already old and short enough. So
Yeah, well,
I don't know if we're shrinking or the kids are just, you know, whatever water they're drinking. Like we have to look up to them.
yeah, that's it. That's it.
So before I Transformer nerd tonight, I got a car nerd because I made an observation I thought was kind of a little funny. On this awesome site I found called childrenprimus.com, found an article that said that Rise of the Beast movie was doing a cross promotion with Monroe Auto Centers. Okay. And I found it kind of ironic because Monroe Auto Centers is kind of like the Walmart of the automotive service world.
Got it.
There's nothing in particularly wrong with their products or their services. It's just that it's not exactly top shelf. Okay. So in the earlier advertisements for the movie, especially when they were just featuring, you know, Jazz in the commercial, excuse me, Mirage in the commercials. Okay. You know, at the title, when the title card came up in between Transformers, it showed the Porsche emblem that flipped over to the Autobot emblem. So they were obviously pushing Porsche pretty hard. They want to, you know, get the excitement for the Porsche brand. And then they partner with Monroe Auto Centers. Now, let me tell you, as a Porsche owner, and this is just with my cheap 944, not a 911. Like, I think it looks like Mirage is like a 90, 91, 911. Jeez. And you would never catch a Porsche owner dead at a Monroe Auto Center. I find it funny that they're doing promotions and both of them are car related, and the two of them are never going to touch.
Wow.
Oh, look at that here. Thrilling 30 Trailbreaker.
Oh, this? The DK2 guard with
Oh,
fillers
the
in it.
Diaclone guard, yeah.
And then the non-F feet. So he has a proper van back in rather than the siege feet hanging off the back.
Yeah. Wonder if they're gonna do him again as part of like a Studio Series Ironhide repaint. What's up? Jess is here.
There's a delay in the stream as I watch it. Like right now, you're talking in my head. But when you said 9/11 and you said never forget, I laughed at that. But then, since there was a delay, because I heard you say it, right? But you hear me laugh in the background when he's talking about the car place. And I'm like, no, I don't give a shit with the car place. The 9/11 joke was funny.
She's watching the stream in another room.
Was a comments from Jess says, Anthony, show my bulkhead. And
oh, yeah, she got a... They're down here,
says
just pass them to me.
We know a 6'4" guy who drives one of them small Kia cars.
Yeah. So...
Oh, sorry, your mic.
This
Your
was
mic's cutting out. Okay.
Yeah, can't
I
hear
don't know
me
how
too
the
well.
fuck he fits in that car.
Who are you talking about?
Barfett.
Oh, yeah, he's a tall guy.
Lanky ass.
Yeah, he's a beanpole of a person. So this is Prime Robots in Disguise, Wheeljack and Bulkhead, and they are Jess's. They are the first Transformers Jess ever had, and they are very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we got them at TFCon one year. Did we get both of them at the same TF? Oh yeah, okay. She's just nodding.
Those the animated ones?
Yeah, from the Prime TV show. Which is that and Beast Wars are the only ones Jess has watched start to finish with me.
Was that the one where
she was
called
like
him Jackie?
Yeah, they called him Jackie a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a little weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because like his design. This is like the inversion of the guy in Rise of the Beast because his design looks like Wheeljack pretty closely. He's got the nose, he's got the horns, but his personality was completely different from the Wheeljack that we know because he was a wrecker. And then the guy in Rise of the Beast doesn't look like Wheeljack's traditional design, but he is still a proper inventor and stuff. So they're like opposite things. And Jess handed me a Sailor Jupiter cat to show off too. It's really nice.
It's from a blind.
Oh, Sailor
Black.
Moon.
Oh, there's a DK2 guard. And I was gonna say, first of all, the non-F feet look really nice, and second of all, if you read my review of Ironhide that I posted last Monday, I was just straight up like, how come he don't got no stripe? The deluxe one has a stripe. DK2 guard has a stripe. In fact, that's something I got to do. I got a yellow Gundam marker. I can just add a stripe to this guy. There's an indent here and everything, so I'm gonna do that in the near future. Just fix it myself. The back half of that cut off. See, Jess is just walking by and handing me things to show off. So these are a couple of cat blind packs of hers. One is an egg cat, and the other one is a bunny cat, and they're just large vinyls that she got at... shout out to Gotham Central. If you're ever in Mississauga, which is really far away from where I am, so I don't go there too often, they have a ton of blind packs, and if you want some, that's the best place to go.
Turn them around.
Turn them around. Okay.
Turn them around. Turn them around.
Oh, I don't want to get banned from YouTube for that, but yes, they are both male cats.
Oh, yeah, speaking of traveling, the one plan that we're planning to do is, just get together of viewers, friends, and anyone who wants to join us for the premiere of Rise of the Beast on June 9th. And we're debating which area to, everyone to hang out with, because the two proposed areas, one is downtown where parking's like $30 and an extra hour to drive around. Or the other was by a mall where you have free parking and everyone can just chill.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a very Toronto problem. Scotiabank Theatre downtown. Lovely place. You don't want to drive in Toronto. First of all, it sucks. Second of all, there's nowhere to park without paying tons of money. Unless you want to take... Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
now, we have pretty good transit in Toronto.
Area. But the parking situation and the prices. Yeah, we get the same thing in DC.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, you can take transit, and Toronto Transit's pretty good, but I hate taking transit when I got somewhere to be at a specific time, because I never like, gambling with how long it's going to take me to get there. Yes?
The transit in Toronto is shit, and you might get stabbed. Don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
You haven't been in a while. Andrew has to take transit all the time, and he says it's not safe.
I'll believe him.
I take transit every day.
Since you guys are based loosely around the greater Toronto area?
Yeah, that's where all the Canadians in this think group are located.
So look, what is the six? I never understood what that meant. Drake always...
I don't know why they call it that. I do not know. I live here and I don't know.
Sorry, what? Sorry, say it again?
So Drake called
It's so stupid.
the number 6.
It's stupid.
What's the...
No.
Oh, it's in reference of the area code.
The 6 is stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in reference of the area code, because Toronto's
6
original area code was 416, and the surrounding outside areas had the area
White
code of
supremacy.
905.
That's just what Drake started saying. It's stupid. Look at this.
So it's anyone who's like from the core part of Toronto is technically from the 416 area code.
Gotcha.
Oh, that makes sense.
Here,
I
Shinta.
have
Come on, Shinta.
I have a 416 kind of phone number, and that's as close as I'll get, so I don't dox myself.
ToyFax, ToyWarp, what are you holding there?
I'm holding an interesting little find that came. Okay, last week when I had to jump off to win an auction, I won the auction.
Oh.
It was a lot of. It was a mixed lot of GoBots and Transformers, but in the lot was this Powertron's Erdl car that I've never seen before. It's a friction-powered car.
Nice.
You can hear that, and it looks like that when it would hit something, he transforms.
Oh, that's cool.
And I
Interesting.
just find it really interesting that I've never seen the guy before.
It's sort of like a jump starter.
Yeah. Except
No,
he's actually
that design looks familiar,
Trans Am.
actually.
It's a nice size too.
I think I've seen that before. I think that might have also been released as a Transformer, because I recognize the upturned arms. I'm going to have to see if I can find that on the wiki. Also, there's my cat, Pepperoni.
I don't know. I think it might be tough because what would be released as a Transformer that was also released from Erdl? Those are two very unrelated companies.
Yeah, like strictly, right? Tarn.
I don't know, but I remember seeing it.
Well, it's a black Trans Am. Well, I guess it could be any color, molded in a different color. Yeah, it's got Erdl all over the bottom of it, and that's all it says. Powertrons.
That cat is very comfortable around you.
Here we go. I don't know if it's actually the same. Yeah, okay. So there is a Transformer called Turbo, and it was released only in Brazil by the company called Estrella, and it uses the same tooling as that. Let me see if I can find the wiki article.
Trying to do the Gendo Akari face.
In Brazil?
Yeah.
Color really
Wow.
You get like a bumblebee, like one of those weird color Estrella Brazil bumblebees for like $200 on eBay.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, and it's like 5 or 6 different colors, I think.
Yep.
All the mini bots have releases. Well, most of them.
Yeah, okay, so...
Yeah, I saw in one of the groups
Let me
a couple weeks ago they had a blue cliff jumper for like $1,200.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that
And
is
he
also
wasn't even
one of the
carded.
Brazilian ones. Oh, thanks. Just handed me Skittles candy. Okay, so that's the...
So spin. So
If you want to
yeah,
pop that window up there, I can show. I got a picture of it from the wiki.
I'm finally done charging. So I'll try to check back in once I get back to DC.
Okay.
I know how these stuff.
All right.
So I know I don't get a vote anyway. So I have to go.
Yeah.
And I'll check back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Peace.
Same mold.
So,
And that's an actual Transformer, huh?
yeah. The full article. Let me get to the proper article here. Yeah. So the character's name is Turbo. It's released only in Brazil by Estrella. Originally made in Japan, designed for Ashaki Shuko KK. Design was shortly thereafter licensed by the Erdl Company in '85 and sold in their Powertrons line in North America, the United Kingdom, and Europe. Use of the mold included the evil Phyton in black-gray, Heroic Turboid in yellow-gray, and Knight Rider, black and red.
Wow, they're trampling
Yeah,
on all sorts of copyrights there.
Yeah.
Because not only are they trampling on Knight Rider, but Turbo's a GoBot.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Brazilian Transformers line was really weird. Like I said, it was basically just full of variants, and instead of it was this whole different thing. Instead of Autobots versus Decepticons, it was a faction called Optimus versus a faction called Magnus. Yeah, this guy was licensed as part of that.
I'll be.
I only know about him because this is one of those guys that shows up in like multiverse stories when they want super obscure guys. And I saw the design and I just remember the upturned arms and thinking how funny it looked. But yeah, so what you're holding was, in one region, a Transformer.
Weird.
Well, it's funny. As you're holding the car, my initial thought was Knight Rider.
Yeah, Black Trans Am. I mean, Trans Ams were about... I think the only thing they made more models of than Trans Ams in the 80s was Corvettes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
But Turbo Teen was a Trans Am. Knight Rider was a Trans Am.
Someone's getting killed in their sleep.
Oh dear.
Like, I will kill you in your sleep, human. There will be brownies under your pillow, and they will not be the kind you eat, but the kind that came out of my ass. With litter pots.
Pepperoni's just like, well, this might as well happen. That's the kind of person she is. This kind of cat she is.
All right, Anthony, what the heck is this thing?
What you got there? Let's hold that up to the camera. That looks like it's made out of Lego. I don't know what that is.
That's what it came in that huge lot I got of train. I managed to snag the whole lot for like $51 shipped, so I got my money's worth. But yeah, it came with two of these
That's
things,
worth it
and I have
for that
no
one,
idea
that
what the heck they were for. Yeah, I have no idea.
Those look like
Bionicle stuff.
I feel like
maybe?
I've seen them before, but no, Bionicle was all Lego Technic. That has a very specific look to it. I do feel like I've seen those before, but I couldn't tell you what they were. Yeah, I have a tail coming out of my head now.
Yeah, there's just stuff happening in the background.
Yeah, the angle's just so weird because I was trying to show off stuff on the table here, and like now I'm like pitching it up here so y'all can see the cat on my shoulder.
Well,
that was left behind
as
here.
she turns around. This is funny.
Yeah. This is cinema. Okay.
All right, so who's our next battle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say
we need to get through this week so we can have another topic next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say shortly we jump back onto the battle, but let's see, the remaining first round of the battles is TF Johnny versus Iceman, Charlie versus Shiva Kobe, and Steven versus Cyclonus. So once we determine those three, then we go into the semi-rounds and then into the finals. So hopefully everyone is able to sign in, and if not, then we'll just also have to go through without them.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Yep.
I can give my own opinions, and I know Mr. Box got his opinions, so we'll put it to the crowd's vote after that.
You want to go ahead and put my thoughts about my team out there? Since we're already on the topic.
Well,
I know, what is it?
We're going to wait to see if Cyclonus is able to jump in before we start your round.
Well,
right.
since we have a little time to kill, let me show off my my finds this week.
Okay.
Backwater site got the Matchbox Service Center. These are the stackable play sets. They were only available for 2 years. I got this one and the emergency set, both sealed, for I think $32 shipped.
Nice.
And they're both sealed. They've never been opened.
Wow.
So I got this one and the set right up here.
I see it.
The new ones.
Now to get a price like that for both of them, the person selling them, they just happen to have them around and they didn't really know what they were. It
was a backwater auction site, that I won't name just because I don't like to share what site it is. I've been finding some deals on there. The lot of Transformers
Is it the
I got,
dark
like
web?
But the lot of Transformers I got in there, like I said, I got for like $50, and I think there were, oh god, there's Blitzwing, Astro Train, 2 of the Omnibots, Top Spin, a Power Dasher, Hound, Punch, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 GoBots. And then I've got another little lot over here that are just extra GoBots and Transformers that I don't need extras of, and I'll just resell. Probably for what I got in the whole lot.
Oh, that's
what condition were they all in?
They're kind of rough shape. I'm just kind of using them for alt mode, to show off in the case.
But that's an interesting, like obscure character set that you found in that lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Tarn, and he's immediately really impressive. He's very flat. That's kind of a little bit of a strange thing, but I guess they did that so they could make him really tall. It's like, he's taller than Bulkhead, and Bulkhead is like an old big Voyager from like a decade ago. And they have a bunch of customizable configurations for his like cannons and things in the instructions here, so I'm just seeing what they can do. Pop these out and spin this around and pop this guy out. Love the translucent purple that he's apparently made of. It looks like there's a lot of painted over translucent purple on him. Yeah, there we go. Plug these guys in like that. Spin that around. And he's got a set of shoulder cannons. There we go.
Translucent meaning that under the paint you can see through it.
Yeah. I don't know how clear it would be here, but like you can see sort of the sides of his cannons there. They're like translucent purple. It looks like they were painted over, and like his backpack looks to be the same way. Which I'm sure will make a certain subset of people that believe clear plastic figures are doomed to self-destruct just like absolutely freak out. But no, he seems to have it all together.
On the back of the Chevy Beretta, where it says Beretta in between the taillights, that's painted over translucent like plastic, and a lot of us have taken like a hobby knife and scraped off the paint and then put a light behind it, so when you hit the brakes, the Beretta lights up.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean that is fully why they do that on figures like this, so that parts of them will light up when they're close to a light source. This guy is supposed to have light piping. Haven't been able to quite ping it yet, but he's all front with here, so that doesn't surprise me. He's got posable hands too, which you don't usually see on like regular like deluxes and Voyagers or whatever. It's always got to be one of those like size class up things if they're going to do something like that. Yeah. The other thing that the instructions suggest. Spin looks like he's getting kicked in the head.
Yeah, Jazz in Force to fight. He does like a spinning bird kick like Chun-Li from Street Fighter. I've got killed by that move more than a few times than I care to admit.
Give him a cannon with 2 different handholds. There we go.
Oh, that's a nice pose.
Yeah. And you can see all the translucence on the gun. A lot of more, because this character was designed by an artist named Alex Milne. Like, he's the guy that designed him when he appeared in Lost Light. And he was really fond of giving all of his characters, like, people sometimes call them Tron lines. You know, like the characters in Tron had glowing lines on them. So yes. A lot of Transformers that he specifically designs or draws have a lot of those. So like you can see that's what they're sort of trying to evoke with the clear purple bits on the gun and like There's other clear purple bits on the torso. Just Transformers with a lot of glowing bits on them. A lot of the characters in the War for Cybertron games had a similar kind of thing happening.
I was about to say that, yeah. And I really like that idea. And as a matter of fact, I really like the aesthetic. I kind of thought of it like they've got those extra glowing lines on them because they're more powerful the closer they are to Cybertron.
Yeah.
So that's just, more power flowing through their circuits.
Yeah. I didn't know that was significant. That's interesting.
Yeah, one of the cartoon series, or I think maybe 2 series, some of the characters have like glowing lines within their designs.
I love the Tron aesthetic. I just absolutely love it.
That's pretty much everything. All the Transformers that this one artist drew always had that kind of going on. Yeah, you grab the Flame Toys model kit of Lost Light Megatron here to compare.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so he's taller than him, which is good because he was bigger than him in the comic. This is not a good angle to show that off. Yeah, so in Lost Light, like I said, so Tarn was like a fanatical Megatron loyalist. Like, he read Megatron's book that he wrote before the war even started and would, like, quote it regularly. But then Megatron joins the Autobots, and so Tarn's like, well, guess I gotta go kill this guy. And that's basically his storyline in the comic. Even the person I worship no longer embodies the cause. That's how much I believe it now. That's how much it's moved past him.
That's crazy.
And then he eventually finds Overlord of Last Stand of the Wreckers fame and teams up with him to get it done because Overlord has his own like issues with Megatron specifically. Because this guy was obsessed with him because he was his hero until he wasn't. Overlord was obsessed with proving that he was better than Megatron by beating him in a battle, but Megatron just, like, never had time for him. And so that was their whole story. And anybody that's, like, specifically likes these 3 characters in this specific design are probably because of that comic. Yeah. It's a good series. It's kind of hard to access because this was like a many years into IDW's run on it, so it was very much like the middle of an ongoing story. But yeah, it gave us characters like these.
Yeah, I caught the story in a YouTube video somewhere where somebody read out the storyline. It's some of the where he was reading, he did the voices too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and the storyline was freaking fantastic.
Oh yeah. James Roberts is the name of the author, and so that's pretty much the main like thing that he's written ever because he's not usually a writer by trade, but he came up through like writing like fan fiction of all things because he was a fan of the Marvel UK comics and they had their own official club back in the 80s, and so he's very much like evoking that when he wrote Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye. But yeah, it was him on the writing, Alex Milne on the art, and that comic series did win an award. I forget which one, but like a proper literary award, so that's the one that won things and got mainstream respect.
The one not done by a writer. Oh man, the writers had to be salty. I know I would have been.
No, like he wasn't a published writer before that, but like he'd written a ton of stuff.
So what do you guys think, like, we were like going back to the Tron aesthetic thing on the Transformers, what do you guys think of that design on our guys? Because there was a lot of backlash I saw in like the groups and stuff of people not liking that aesthetic. What are you guys' take on it?
I mean, I always enjoyed it. I thought like it especially made sense in the video game because it let you. It was a shortcut to easily allow the players to identify friends and foes at a distance while they were in the middle of the thick of it during like the story mode. At least that was how I read it back then.
that taking an angle for it kind of makes sense. I mean, I just found the aesthetic kind of cool looking. Because I mean, we're used to the G1 aesthetic, and then everyone arguing things have to follow G1 exactly. But I'm like, but these are cool elements, and it's almost like a modernization of an older style, like basically like putting like really cool LED strips on a vehicle, but doing it in a proper way where it looks cool.
Oh man, that's funny because that's kind of like why I put the lights on my cliff jumper, for a Cybertronian glow. Yeah.
Okay. Which I mean, at one point, I'd say about 20 years ago, when there was the first set of LED lights that you could get for like underneath cars, a lot of it was cool, but I think a few years later, it was deemed illegal to have them, so then everyone had to like take them out their vehicles.
In most states, yeah, it is illegal. But back before it was the LED strips, it was actual neon tubes.
Yes, neon tubes. That's it.
And those were
Shadow Strip.
much more pain in the ass to install and keep in one piece.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, they're doing more of the G2 Stunticons there, not just Shadow Strip there. Who knows how far they'll go? The question is, are they going to make a Generation 2 Commander Motormaster, and is anybody willing to buy it? Yeah, I love G2 stuff, but even that's a bit much for me.
Damn, this guy's big.
Yeah.
Honestly,
one of the.
No, go ahead.
One of the things that came out this week is a leak of a continuation of that Walmart line of crazy Generation 2 repaints. They're doing Watermelon Mirage, which is one of my favorite weirdos of canceled Generation 2 stuff. So I absolutely want to grab that one when it comes out, which is probably not going to be for a long time because it's a leak. But I got the third party one.
Because I think there was images of that like a few months ago.
Yeah. Like a few days ago, somebody had found, one of the usual toy leakers had a copy of it in hand, so we got to have a look at it.
Okay.
In fact, let me grab the third party guy here.
Yeah. I would have died to have that sound in a toy when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Penelope.
Right, so
I'm trying to find a picture. That's why I'm not there. But go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the repaint of the Ocular Max Mirage in those colors. So what we're getting and what has been leaked is Earthrise Mirage in the same color scheme, which is hit the Generation 2 figure that they were going to make but got canceled. And as somebody that already owns this, I am absolutely down for something as ridiculous looking at that. I like the video game series Splatoon. This is Splatoon colors.
Yeah, Megatron is, looks like he's saying, why are you those colors?
Yeah, I posed him like that on purpose, because like half of the dynamic of that comic was, ooh, nice. That's a Wing Saber, isn't it?
Jetfire.
Oh, Jetfire. Yeah. You just have a sound box to make that over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah. I had him on the Lost Light shelf over there, this Megatron, because him and Hot Rod were co-captains of the ship, and they had a very antagonistic relationship. Because Hot Rod in that comic was like extremely irreverent all the time, like a little bit Deadpool-esque at times. And so Megatron was always baffled by him and was very much the straight man to his antics. So I kind of posed him like that next to Hot Rod over there on purpose, like what is wrong with you? With the open hand and everything.
Well, apparently I can't share the picture. Oh, well.
Oh, no.
What was it of?
Just
my narrate it to us.
Cliff Jumper with the Cybertronian glow at night, where you could see the lights on it, but I can't figure out how to share it.
Okay.
Don't you have a Facebook? Just send it to Spin on Facebook, and I think he can maybe pull it up via that, maybe.
Yeah, I see the wheels turning there for a second. You're like, nah.
Yeah, I thought about it. It's like, man, I just don't know where the hell that picture is on Facebook. Or I guess I could just PM you.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I don't. Well, yeah. Okay, hold on. It sucks having it like I'm always wanting to do the show from in front of the cases, but my computer's in the other freaking room.
Right.
Time to rearrange your entire living space strictly so the computer is in front of the cases.
Yes. Well, once you jump back in, then actually right at 9 o'clock, we'll go through the rest of the draft picks, and when we go through each of the characters and abilities and explanations, we're going to try to limit the time to go through them. So like within 1 to 2 minutes at most, explaining the characters, their dynamics and abilities, and then we'll vote to see who's which side wins.
Definitely looking at the instructions at one point here, like, what the hell are they asking me to do?
Yeah, instructions are terrible.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's like a weird little subtle thing, because you got, like, how do I line this up here? You got the joint here, and it starts out like straight, and then you got to bend it sideways, and then there's an inner joint here that like pivots diagonally inwards, so it can attach to the legs. And that's a terrible view of it. But I was just like trying to parse the instructions, figuring out what that was. Yeah, the challenge on a figure.
Hey, Charlie, I was like, what?
Yeah. I'm just trying to transform Tarn. See, the challenge on a guy like this is that because he transforms into like a made-up thing of no specific design, you can't really eyeball it like the way if it was a car, you'd be like, okay, so that's the bumper, so that goes there, obviously. That's the roof, so that goes there. This guy changes into like a made-up Cybertron tank, so yeah. So you can't just like instinctively figure out where things go based on what it looks like.
Well, I was going to say
with the challenge
with getting Slag, like one of the newer characters, I think there was 1 or 2 parts of the instruction or steps within the instructions that didn't quite make sense, or you either almost have to assume how to do that transformation, and I think it's mainly just because of the angle of the transformation and how it'd be hard to show that angle in the image.
Yeah. I've mentioned it before, but there's a YouTuber called Mgo, and he does the usual like video review stuff, but he has this separate set of videos for every figure that he does called Just Transform It, and it's like no dialogue, I think, no commentary. It's just a single take of the guy, and then he transforms it at a regular speed to one mode, and then he transforms it back to the other mode, and that's the whole video. And I'm like, if you're ever stuck on a figure, that's the thing I watch to figure it out. Because it's just very, like, no frills. Oh, that's good looking. I like that they're all underneath like that.
They're inside. You can't see it from that angle, but they're inside too.
Oh,
just
nice.
under the dash, though. Nothing overly done.
Yeah, but that looks very nice.
God. Yeah. It's a little bit surreal seeing like such a direct translation of the vehicle that I recognize like in real life. Because I'm like, oh, usually they're not that really specific, entirely red color scheme and don't have those exact design cues. I don't see this going down the street ever. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Now as the number one hubcap fan, I'm like, do a yellow version.
So is that car in Sarasota?
Yeah, it's in my garage.
Oh, it is. Nice.
That's my cliff jumper. That's the only reason why I ever wanted a 944. I mean, they're completely freaking gutless. It was actually partially designed by Volkswagen, and it was supposed to be Volkswagen designing it for Fiat, but there was a management change at Fiat 3/4 of the way through the design for the thing, and Fiat's like, nah, forget it, we don't want it now. So they released it as a Porsche, as a budget Porsche, and it was made to compete with like the Mazda RX-7. Oh, crazy potato!
I'd say that's a lot of hands on different manufacturers to be involved in that one model of a vehicle.
Well, it's Volkswagen and Porsche have a history of being very closely related through the years. So,
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, that snapped in nicely. It had one of those moments where the whole thing started to come together. See, one thing I've noticed, and I write about this a lot in my written reviews, is I like it when figures are designed so that they have like the tabs and the holes on them, not for stability, but so you can tell a piece is supposed to go somewhere. Because you'll say, oh, that really specific peg fits into that really specific hole, so I can specifically see that this is supposed to fold like this and go here, because it deliberately snaps together. I'm not quite done yet.
It still looks bad.
That'll make it into an... Yeah. Gotta add the turret to the top. I don't think I have to do anything special to it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's the tank mode. Just had to add the turrets to the top. Oh no, actually they go up higher, I think. No, they go where his feet are. How do they go in there? It's a different connection. Oh, I think you gotta... Oh no, I gotta reverse this. Give me a second. I gotta take this bit back here, spin it around. Gotta take that off.
Is that Titan Return Overlord in the background?
Yeah, I was talking about their like storyline and like Lost Light there, where like they were like, "Hey, we both have beef with Megatron. Let's go fight him."
Yeah, I keep on wanting to do some pictures of that with the Dark Matrix from their Power to Prime's Nemesis and Unicronus, and have them in his chest, and then have him pose with both, regular Rodimus and Optimus, and then have him pose with the Power to Prime evil versions of them.
Yeah, that would make for a good Lost Light version of Hot Rod specifically, because of the black and purple color scheme that they assumed later on. Does this go on here like that? There we go. There we go. See what I was talking about? Tabs and holes specifically guide you. Specifically point the right direction.
Usually if you put some hair around it, it's easier to find.
You see, I was thinking the same thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going down.
I can see it in your face. Oh, fuck it, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Like, YouTube's just going to call us tomorrow and be like, you know what, guys?
Anyway, moving on. Here's the tank mode actually properly assembled. With one turret up here and then a second turret down there. It's this like double layered thing with 2 sets of guns and 2 sets of treads, because the whole point of the character was he did everything extra for no reason. He has 2 fusion cannons, even though Megatron only has 1. Stuff like that. The whole point of the character was that he was trying really hard, and that shows off in this tank mode too.
Still looks cool.
Yay, Shiba Kobe's here. Oh yeah. Like, I'm not complaining. I'm like immediately impressed, and it reminds me so much of my memories of the old of when I had Coulter, because it's got, because it has the gold bits in the back and like the purple and the black and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty nice looking. Now, this is the next thing that I'll do a write up of.
Shiba Kobe is here. It's so late, but I'm here. Never too late, as long as you get here before before we finish the stream. And since we do have Shiba Kobe and Charlie here, I say, and it's 9 o'clock. Let's jump into their battle round, and let me pull up their profile.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do in the meantime. I can see this guy has lots of weapons ports on him for War for Cybertron stuff, so they obviously want you to take this tank that already has 4 guns on it and just give him like 12 million guns. So I'm gonna go get my guys and do that.
Reminds me.
Power dashers.
Okay, so let me get this on the screen.
Yep, I am paying attention to this too, don't you worry. I can do 2 things.
There we go. So for this week's battle within the draft picks, Charlie versus Shiva Kobe. And Charlie has Vector Prime, Trypticon from G1, Trailbreaker from G1, Nightbird, also G1, Abominus from G1, Grimlock for Cybertron, Rodimus, the human version of Rodimus, and then Season 3 of G1. And Shiva Kobe's is Perceptor, Scourge, and Bruticus, all from G1. Also Mirage and Spike from G1. And then there's Deathsaurus and Ironhide from Energon. So I'm going to say before we vote in terms of who we think who will win this battle, let's see, where are we? There we go. So before we start, let's get a quick rundown of each side within a minute. Actually, as first, Charlie, which characters do you think are your strongest of your lineup?
I think Vector Prime. Say Nightbird. And probably Rodimus Prime human, because he's kind of like the president. He knows everything going on, supposedly. Not our president, but.
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain to me who Vector Prime and Deathsaurus are.
Vector Prime is the Prime of Space and Time from Transformers Cybertron. I'm not super familiar with that show, but I know he can manipulate time, like slow things down, speed things up. He can travel through time. He sort of observes space and time like a watcher. Like he shows up in that show because he's like, "Oh, stuff's messed up. You guys gotta stop this black hole from spreading because it has to do with Unicron and stuff." And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Deathsaurus is easy. He's the bad guy from Transformers Victory. He's Starsaber's opposite. He's a wannabe Megatron follow-up. You know, the self-proclaimed new Emperor of Destruction. He changes into a big kaiju-like thing that's kind of like a big lizard. He's got a couple of
like a Mecha Godzilla
that change into. Yeah, like straight up. Like the people were like, "What is he supposed to change into?" And many years later, the guy that designed him was like, "Oh, he's supposed to be a kaiju." That's what I had in mind. In fact. Let me call up some pictures here.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Being Trypticon on their side and a kaiju on the other side. That's a good matchup.
Actually, yeah, you're right. It would be a kaiju battle. Let me just find a good image of his original figure. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's getting the HasLab figure too. So there he is. If you want to call him up. He's got wings.
Yeah, I know.
Beak. Yeah.
Was it Vector Prime? He can also create teleportation portals for his teammates, so he can send them to like other planets and stuff. So there's that too to consider.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the HasLab version, by the way, the crowdfunded one that's coming out soon. So this is his newest figure. Now he's not as big as Trypticon. This guy's like a big normal-sized robot, like bigger than G1 Megatron, but like a tall guy. He's like Ultra Magnus sized, basically. Whereas Trypticon's like a giant.
Yeah. Well, Kaiju would be giant too, and Mechagodzilla was actually bigger than Godzilla by a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, by human standards, he's still gigantic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and let me find Vector Prime here. Prime. Get a look at his first appearance. Yeah, is a comparison of his American and Japanese releases for whatever reason. But yeah, Guardian of Space and Time changes into a spaceship. Got his cyber key that's a clock. He's a sword fighter. He's got a little minicon that changes into a rifle. But yeah, it's his time travel powers that really make him a threat. Because yeah, he can manipulate time, send people to other planets, teleport, do all kinds of stuff like that.
At what kind of rate of fire would he have with something like the power like that?
Ooh, gosh, that's a good question. Again, I haven't actually seen Cybertron. That's a blind spot for me. Me, the guy that knows most of the stories.
I think they have a little bit of a wait time between him at least teleporting people. Because I know there's an episode where he misses. He was in the process of teleportation. It gets interfered by like Starscream or someone like that, and then he has a recharge for a bit. And I mean, it's like within the same episode, so it's not like Dragon Ball Z where it's like we got to take half a season for him to have a chance to teleport again.
Yeah.
So now, maybe like
one of the things that. One of the things, I didn't especially complain when he was selected as a character, because he is one of the original 13, but this character existed before they were really conceived as being, like, gods. So he's basically just a strong old guy instead of, like, a godly character, so that makes his inclusion fair, in my opinion.
Old guy meaning he has battle experience, okay.
Yeah, basically, like he's ancient. He knows how to manipulate time, stuff like that. But also, he's not infallible. Like last Autobot last time, you can still beat him. He's destructible. I think he sacrifices his life towards the end of this show, even. So tough, old, difficult, but not indestructible.
He's like the gurus from Chrono Trigger, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, I think. Jess is showing up, and he's got Andrew on speakerphone.
I have to go pee, but I don't want to hang up on Andrew, so you can talk to Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. You're on stream.
Grimlock War for Cybertron.
Transformers.
Actually, the Grimlock War for Cybertron sounds like it'd be a better matchup for Deathsaurus. That sounds like a really good fight, actually.
Yeah, actually, that does sound like they're like more evenly matched. Yeah, War for Cybertron Grimlock. That's a good show. See, Andrew. This is going to be mostly gibberish to you because I'm on stream with multiple people, but they're in my headphones, so you're only hearing my chunk of the conversation.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're in my head.
Yeah. Now he was on stream like ages ago. You guys have met him. Some of you have met him before.
I remember there when they were what's it called? There were them and Jets were judging people's collections.
Yeah.
The chaos episode.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but looking at these teams, I think Charlie's is too stacked to compete with Shiba Kobe's. Like, I think having Tripticon there and having Vector Prime there and having Abominus there, I think they can clear pretty much anybody here. I get the idea of Perceptor being like brains can beat brawn, but like I think he's going down really quick. Same with like
he's and he's not really a strategist. I mean, he's more like the lab guy.
Right.
And he can come up with a special weapon maybe to beat you, but he'd be reluctant to use it himself.
Yeah. Like, the thing that I keep coming back to is you sort of have to weigh these statistically instead of narratively, because I'm thinking, okay, if this was actually on a show and Perceptor and Ironhide and Spike Witwicky were fighting these guys, they would win because they have narrative power. Like, Perceptor would figure out a way around this, and Spike Witwicky, the token human kid would be able to be like figure out a way to survive. But if you want to stat it out, I'm like, yeah, no, they got Trypticon, they got Vector Prime, they got Abominus. No, they're going down.
Yeah, Anthony, which team are you saying is stacked?
Charlie's team.
Yep, that's what it looks like on the little stat sheet I had. I had him like Charlie is one of like the high hitters along with me and Cyclonus. Where Shikabi was like in the middle. Not the lowest tier, but like middle. Because there was a lot of people, there's a few people that, there's like only 3 of us that made it to like the 6 to 7 points, where everybody else was like 3 to 4 points.
Well, I would say in Shiva Kobe's defense, she does have Bruticus and Desaurus on her team, and I mean Bruticus does, it has been able to hold his own in many battles.
Yeah, like definitely Bruticus and Deathsaurus are the 2 strongest guys here, and like Deathsaurus, like I did watch that show, so I can speak to that. But like he was powerful. He could probably take down a Combiner, I think, in terms of his strength. Because he didn't, assert himself as the new leader for nothing. Like, he had a weapon that was hilariously named the living metal destroying cannon, because it could just like make robots decay, and people pointed out that calling it the living metal destroying cannon was the same as calling a gun a person destroying cannon.
It's the flesh destroying cannon.
Yeah.
It's the chest. I call it the chest ventilator.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Like, he could hold his own against Victory Saber. That was enough that the final battle between them was like not obviously decided. So yeah, I would say that Deathsaurus is probably the strongest person there on Shiba Kobe's team.
Well, I would say
he had anime powers.
Let's go for a round of voting.
Kawaii.
Who wins between Charlie and Shiba Kobe? So
I had Charlie winning.
Yeah.
Are we saying the votes? Or are we typing the votes in?
I actually typed them in.
Oh crap! I gotta get up. Yeah, everybody laughs at the guy who doesn't have the computer in the room.
He was like, "Please let me just say it, so I don't have to get up for the 12th time."
The strawberries in the freezer got gross.
Hey, my lovely fiance just gave me strawberries and vanilla ice cream out of the blue.
Don't get married, because that'll end.
Told you she's a keeper.
Oh, how?
It wasn't out of the blue, it was out of the fridge.
Hey, Jess, somebody said don't get married because that will end. And I would like to say I strongly disagree.
Take my word
with that.
for it.
Yeah, I rarely do this. It'll just be the same.
Yeah. Thank
You'll
you,
be
Jess.
getting her strawberries.
It was good. I mean, strawberries for me, too. Yeah. We went to Cora's this morning for breakfast. She got a waffle with strawberries on it because strawberries were in season, but she couldn't finish it all, so she just handed them off to me with some ice cream, which is lovely. But yeah, I typed... Oh, did I type my thing in? I didn't hit enter. There we go.
Cora's is a good restaurant, although I've found a couple locations that have kind of gone downhill in the last couple of years.
Yeah, the one in Pickering that we go to, it's still good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and it has to be a breakfast place because it closes at like 3 p.m. So like they really want you to be there in the morning, and that's it.
Yeah, like some locations, like it's there's a huge lineup. Like you're waiting an hour just to get in.
Yeah, I know. I believe it.
Okay, we got a couple votes in so far.
Still just covering this guy in weapons because they want you to. That's the intended play pattern. He has so many ports on him on purpose.
Tarn, aka Mr. Overcompensation.
Yeah, no, that's the point of his character. Like that is textual. He really wants to be the cool guy so badly.
Megatron Senpai, I want to be like you.
No, yes, that's you joke, but I'm like, no, that's the idea.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny because so.
I have an important story from work yesterday.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So, I was organizing the candy that was a mess, and a customer was at self-checkout, and it was ringing up the wrong price, this item that they were getting. And so I went and looked at the item, I looked at the barcode, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the same thing. The sticker says it's supposed to be this price. Okay. So I go and change the price, and he's like, I have 6 in total. And I'm like, okay, 6 in total. And I start changing the price for all of them, and I'm like, a couple in, and I realize he's buying enemas. And I just want to, I haven't sold a single enema in all my time working there, and I sold 6 to one guy in one go. And then, like within 5 minutes, another customer, not at self-checkout but at cash, I'm cashing him out, and he also purchased an enema. I haven't sold a single enema there, and I sold 7 within 5 minutes. And I'm not saying that these guys were friends, but I'm just saying I haven't sold 7 enemas before, and now I have.
Seems
No, you
suspect.
can't have my ice cream.
I didn't know that was something you could buy.
Spin said it
Would have
seems
been,
suspect.
Yeah.
It would have been like, prescribed from like either a doctor or a hospital.
Andrew says something's in the water.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
guessed.
version.
Apparently the
version
ingredients
that's easier
for an enema.
to accept.
6 enemas.
6 enemas.
All right. Well, all the votes are in. So for this round, for Shiba Kobe, Charlie versus Shiba Kobe, Charlie is the winner.
All right.
Technically, I
It'll be
should
real
be
interesting.
voting for who actually should lose, because that would make the team I go against weaker.
There you go. Sports politics.
Oh,
Bad.
yeah, strategy.
Yep.
You are the weakest link.
Stop pulling your points. ToyWarp setting up a legal gambling ring so he wins. He's like, I'm going to pull some of my points. Now I'm going to intentionally score points now so I win the bets.
Well, Professor D, aka Cyclonus, is in the comments section, and Steven is with us. So I'd say we're going to quickly jump over to their round. Just take this off the screen and
Let's see. Make sure you didn't type it in wrong. I know you kept on adding Prime Ratchet, and I was like, I didn't pick him.
Yeah, I think I corrected that last time.
Yeah, I had Energon, Optimus, and Rodimus, Leo Convoy, and Magnaboss, Rampage, IDW Magmatron. That IDW is very important, I found, and then Kicker from Energon. Is it just easier for me to go on, and that gives Professor D a chance to type up his stuff in the comments, I guess?
Yeah, that's probably a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
All right. So IDW Magmatron, he has the big thing with concession with him is that he has all of his team chronically displaced by 1 or 2 nanoclicks. So they're invisible until they decide not to be. So they can kidnap Beast Wars Megatron and return him to the Tripedicus Council. So he can have his whole team be invisible to everybody. Not like invisible, like actually intangible and invisible to everybody until they go for the attack, which then they got to turn that off and do their thing. And then he also, IDW Magmatron, he takes on, in the comics, the Beast Wars Grimlock is more like the Indominus Rex from the Jurassic World series, like in size, not just RatTrap size. And he takes him down by just turning into 3 dinosaurs all at once and biting into him, and he does like some Bioshock to knock bite to put Grimlock out. So I assume he could do something similar to, that G2 Grimlock. And then also being able to split into 2 parks, that gives him some advantage against Skylynx if he decides to split into multiple parks. Rampage, Immortal, Spark, blah, blah, blah. Leo Convoy, he can take on a combiner and hold his own. Plus, at the same time, while fighting that combiner, deal with like a third party trying to kill him. So he's pretty badass. He's a pretty smart fighter. And if you take out take Magma Boss into his 3 components, which is even more dangerous than leaving him fighting him as a combiner, you can have Leo Convoy and Leo Jr. combined to do the green lion form, which can take on like Unicron level threats with its like energy projection attacks and whatnot. Then Magna Boss, he has missiles, sword blast, kind of like Link in the first Zelda game, if you have full health. And then he can summon Optimus energy, which is Unicronian energy, which I could, in theory, use on Energon Optimus to power him up because Energon Optimus, and this is how I'm going to deal with Omega Netflix, Omega Sentinel, or not, whatever, not Omega Sentinel, Omega Supreme. So, like, the Energon Optimus, he can absorb energy, whether it's Unicronian, Primus, from his fellow Autobots by their choice, and he can go, like, Unicronian size. And in the Energon Optimus uses that version of Omega Supreme as, like, a mecha suit, like a 2-piece suit, which I was joking about in that little trash talk little video I did on Instagram. Plus, he has the 4 drones. So he has like a fire truck, a helicopter, a submarine, and a drill tank, so underground tank. So like Magnetron, he can split into multiple parks. But unlike Magnetron, where he's only the tree, he can't be his main robot. He has to combine the 3 separate forms to do the main robot. Optimus can be his main robot while his 4 drones do their own thing in different terrains. So he can always play that number game and still do the Unicron supersized bit. Then Rodimus, I feel kind of bad because I was like, he's kind of just there at this point. And then Kicker, Magmatron with that IDW with his everybody on his team being time displaced, just out of sync like by a second or 2, so you can't tell. That's how he avoids having the Beast Wars cast from the SO telling they're there. You can have Kicker, and he can tell when like incoming enemies are coming, whether they're by physically coming or space warping in. Space bridging in, and he can sense Energon, which that Energon Optimus could consume to take in whatever he does with it to go Unicron supersize. And then he can also he wields like some big Micron sword which he rides around like the Silver Surfer does his surfboard. So, when a Rodimus is like my weakest link for me to think of something it can do, I guess that says something about my picks. Rodimus, he can Energon Rodimus. He can combine with any other super linking Autobot. And like at least with the toys, him and Optimus can combine. But he can talk down Optimus. He commands like Rodimus and Energon. He's on par. He's considered an equal leader to Optimus. But whereas Optimus is more like the warrior, Rodimus is a pacifist, but can still kick your ass. So.
Okay, I hope while Steven's explaining his team, which it totally needed explained to me, I hope Cyclonus is in the comments typing up something in his defense.
Yes, Jess is also in the comments. I vote for RatTrap. Jess is causing problems. So there we go. Professor D says, my team has a far greater combined weight. Our members are more legendary and more notorious. And their general talks too much rather than allowing the team to just kick ass on its own merits. So, Cyclone is for the win.
So to be fair, it is a pretty even matchup in terms of these guys. Like, Armada Optimus is really powerful. Movie Leonard Nimoy Galvatron is really powerful because this was before he got nullified by the lava pit. Yeah, Omega Supreme, always powerful. Netflix is just kind of an arbitrary pick, but yeah. Skylink's super powerful. Leo Kaiser, also from Victory. Another Star Saber level threat, a combiner. And the mechanic Nestor Forbes, who, I don't know. Kicker has anime powers. Nestor Forbes has Marvel Comics criminal powers. So
he's like Kingpin,
whatever.
But with car stealing.
He knows how to build technology that'll take robots down, and specifically is out to do that. So, whichever set of narrative abilities you think would overpower the other, vintage Marvel Comics ingenuity or anime powers.
But I think the main thing is with you got Magmatron. Like I said, he has his whole team on a mechanical genetic level set, so they can be just out of sync at times, so they're intangible and invisible to everybody until they want to attack. Yeah. And then even if somehow he came up with some workaround to sense that, Kicker can still sense Spider-Man, here goes incoming enemies and attacks, and here goes energy resources for us to absorb. And then Optimus can go Kaiju, Unicron-sized Kaiju, Galactus-sized Kaiju, and he has the 4 drones, which even without him, he can still go the super size. And, he can go both. Armada Optimus goes super mode with just a trailer, whereas Energon Optimus goes with 4 vehicles from his trailer, so you can argue which is quote-unquote more powerful. You got 4 robots. The drones can act independently of Optimus, and then combine with them. Whereas it's the Armada Optimus is I'm going to put some on some of my extra armor that I carry with me sometimes in alt mode. That said, I do like Armada Optimus just personally, that design better.
Which one of your guys is saying that can become the size of Unicron?
My Optimus. That's a big point Optimus. In that. Yeah, then both Megatron does too. There's this whole, there's 2. They do some neat stuff with the Unicron lore. So once Unicron's been disembodied at the end of Armada, and early on in Energon, they're trying to figure out who are these people trying to gather Energon and resources, and then you find out eventually that you have 2 Unicronian. You have Megatron trying to recreate Galvatron for evil purposes, and anybody, and then you have Alpha Q, who's a Quintesson, and if any planet that or people that in at least in Energon that Unicron is eaten, you can pull their information back into existence and recreate that planet, that race, blah blah blah. So I guess. And Rodimus is kind of the right-hand man of the person who's in charge of that Unicron faction, the good Unicron side, trying to restore the universe, which they do halfway through the series. They restore a universe, and Alpha Q's the sun and all this weird stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now.
I've never watched Energon. I read everything that happened in that show. It sounds freaking wild.
I find the Unicronian lore, because they make him more. They make it have. He has more of a yin yang. He's more like a force of nature than just Satan. And so he's a little bit. He's a little bit more dynamic. Now, granted, when if his personality takes over, there's points in the series where he has Optimus will go kind of like the Hulk, kind of go evil. Same thing with Megatron. There's times when the will of Unicron tries to take back his own body from Megatron, who's been controlling it, the version of Unicron he's been trying to rebuild. So Energon Unicron isn't a pushover, but they do some crazy. If you like Unicron, it's a series worth watching, because they do some crazy stuff with Unicronian lore.
Okay, I will say now that we know that now that we have some insight on both teams, let's vote for which team wins this round, either Cyclonus or Steven's team.
Yeah, I think Anthony's right. It's kind of like, the whole Marvel universe versus something that's anime. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get up and vote.
You just like try to delay the inevitable.
Yep.
And every time I get up and vote, my computer's like inundated. I set a car up for sale today, and it's just like I got to get through 20 messages for wanting to buy this car to get to.
Yeah, I made the mistake of like joining Discord. I mean, I'll talk on there, but I before I realized how much notifications can pile up on that. I mean, I come back to my phone like an hour later and like 100+ notifications. It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm turning the notifications for this off.
Yeah, you have to go through and turn off notifications for the streams that you're like not interested in.
Mm-hmm. And like my friend that lives in New Jersey, Raisebox, I love him dearly, but I'm like, dude, I am not dealing with like having that damn Discord of yours like flood all my notifications on my fucking phone.
What's even worse is I got it on my computer, so like when I got the sound up on my computer, because I don't have it on my phone, I have it on my computer. That thing, if I don't mute certain channels, it'll just ding, 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 ding all day long.
Yep.
Get alive.
Yeah, I learned that in less than an hour. It's like, nope, turn the notifications for this off.
Yeah, there's many groups and different apps or things that I use, and I'm like, I turn off all alerts. Like I'll go in, see what messages are there, and go back out. But yeah, in terms of alerts, I don't turn them on. It's just get too annoying. Yeah, we got a couple votes in.
I'm curious if Anthony knows, because I saw the Leo Kaiser, the component robots, they all kind of have those breast force animals they paired with, and they kind of remind me how the Action Masters had their animal/weapon partners. Like, how do are their animal partners kind of act as like additional armor for them or weapons or what? The Leo Kaiser's individual team members.
To prevent people from snickering every time the team was mentioned, Shout Factory localized them as the Chest Force.
I do figure drawing from life, so there's not much I can get giggle about.
Yeah.
Chicken breasts.
They
I hate
pop
chicken
their
breasts.
animals. Yeah, they pop their animals out of their chest like Soundwave. That's why they got that name, basically.
Oh, okay.
They all got animal partners that change into little weapons for them, basically.
Okay, so they take kind of the, like you said, the Soundwave component that's stored in his chest, plus sort of what the Action Masters had with their animal partners, with them being Battle Masters.
Yeah, basically.
Because I saw that and I was looking, I was like, oh, that looks like up my alley. Because I like have a Titan's Return, what's laser beak that I customize in the sights. So the guy who was partner, Jackpot's partner. And I know the guy that's sick tonight, ToyFax.
Yes.
Like I talked to him how like I want to take the little Rise of the Beast Battle Masters and paint the Cheetor as Catgut, the Rhinox as Top Heavy, and Alligator as Crocs. It's like Krox.
What language are you speaking right now? The
Action
G1 guy
Master
just going crazy, like what?
I am an orc. It's G1.
Assimilation.
It's G1 Action Masters.
Oh, the Action Masters. Yeah, I around those days I kind of got out of G1 for a bit. Once in the later years, the 87, 88 time frame.
Yeah, I was. Out. Yeah,
I remember having whoever Sights came with who was kind of like this Magneta and white robot. I had Jackpot, and ironically enough, I never had gotten that Jazz repaint of him, mainly because the site's a pterodactyl repaint rather than an actual eagle or hawk falcon. But I mean, I guess I could just cut off the back fin of the pterodactyl head, and it would look close enough if I really wanted to, see if I think about it. I remember I had the Double Dealer as a kid. I had Growl, the Micromaster, his team, the military Decepticon military patrol. I remember I had the releases that Kmart did of the Jazz, Bumblebee, and Grimlock Pretenders without the shells.
The Legends.
I had like a G1 or the G2 re-release of Inferno. I remember him really well.
Right, well, all the votes are in for this round, and Cyclonus is the winner for this round.
Ooh. I guess the power of obviously Generation 2 Grimlock won it because he's blue.
The Union against the Confederacy. The enemy Confederacy.
Okay, so the final round, since both of them are not here, which is TF Johnny and Iceman, so I will put their characters on the screen, and then we'll just kind of have to quickly battle for them since they are not here.
It was who? Iceman and who?
And TF,
Johnny and
Johnny.
Calvin. All right.
Yep.
Where is it? Johnny, Calvin. Huh? Did her? Oh, I never figured his stats out. Crap.
So while Steven figures that out, way late, probably way late in season 3, they introduced Punch.
Mm-hmm. At the very start of season 4, actually.
Okay, that's why. Yes. That's why I never saw him. Never really. So when I got it, I didn't know who the heck it was, honestly. But I did notice that he is a Pontiac Fiero. Now, I was a little embarrassed though when I saw it because it's not a very good rendition of one. Right. And then the GoBots had a Pontiac Fiero. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the mold for that, not only did it include the die-cast parts, but was very accurate to the car. And I was like really embarrassed, like, Transformers, how could you let me down like this?
Yeah, like that was the problem with Transformers, like right around the 87, 88 mark, just design concept and quality just kind of went downhill at that point.
Yeah, maybe that's why that's part of the reason why I kind of fell off on later seasons, because me being a car guy, I didn't recognize any of the cars anymore.
Base spots.
Professor D says, G2 Grumlock say, it's not easy being blue.
Oh no. Johnny has some combiner.
That's just Murphy.
Yeah.
I just like to mention the fact that I have successfully equipped Tarn with 700 guns. Not literally 700, but like a lot of them. Just making use of all the different ports on him and parts from the power dashers. So if he was compensating before, he's like really compensating now.
Well,
I try to make it symmetrical too. Yeah.
How big of a combiner team was God Neptune? Like 5, 6, I'm guessing? One of those classic size teams? 5?
Yeah, the usual 5. They didn't have Nautilator.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Well, is this the one that
So
he was
get
wait, is God Neptune
Chronicon, yeah.
the Seacon? Oh yeah, the Beast.
Yeah.
God. And I was literally looking at that not like earlier today, and I'm just like, I'm so used to seeing them as the individual characters being goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that fight between him and Leo Convoy. And I was like, I'm blanking out. Like, who the hell is God Neptune?
Yeah, no, it's a repaint of the Seacons, but they didn't repaint Nautilus for some reason, so it's only the 5 of them.
6 shot.
So, where is it? Charlie.
What's transforming Johnny Meanham by Stealth Bomber Megatron?
He kept saying Dark Energon Megatron, but like that's not a thing. We did eventually conclude that he was talking about the version of Megatron from Mike Costa's IDW comics that changes into a stealth bomber.
Okay. Wasn't Megatron wielded Dark Energon in the Fall of Cybertron game?
Yep.
Yeah. But he kept asserting he was a stealth bomber, so we did eventually figure out that he was talking about that version.
Okay. Bludgeon.
Yeah, because High Moon Games, he's that hover tank thing.
Okay, I'm gonna find a picture of it.
Yeah, Galaforce Scourge, that's the dragon from the Beast Planet. Mm-hmm. Who's basically the prime of that planet, the jungle planet. So that's 2 liters.
Yeah, okay, so I got a picture up here of
so they both got 2-liter bots.
The Takara toy they made. Yeah, so that's what he's talking about. This was his upgraded form in IDW. This was before he was an Autobot. All that stuff. Like, this is much earlier. He had a railgun as his weapon and so forth.
Now IDW 6 shot. Does he have the same like rate of fire and because G1 6 shot could transform into anything like really fast and do its death move and move on to the next one really quick.
Yeah.
So IDW has the same rate of fire.
Yeah, he had a whole issue dedicated to himself, just showing his skills off. So yeah, he can do the quick change. 6-shot in IDW is from the same class of character as Overlord, where he's a Phase 6er. He's the guy that the Decepticons send in at the very end of a campaign to just raise the surface of a planet. So that's his threat level in those comics. So yeah, he is a living weapon.
He says, love my boy TF Johnny, but Circuit Breaker versus Michael Bay. Iceman for the win.
So Circuit Breaker is one of those characters who, like, isn't allowed to appear because of legal limbo.
Right.
Yeah.
Bob Budiansky created her, but then Marvel Comics made sure to give her a little cameo in Secret Wars before she appeared in Transformers. So technically, Marvel owns the character, not Hasbro, unlike everything else that got introduced in the book. But then also, they've never really done anything with her, so she just kind of exists in limbo now. Like, they'll pay the money to have her show up in reprints of the G1 comics sometimes. Other times, they're not allowed to, and they can't reprint those issues.
Yeah, kind of like Angela with the Spawn comics.
Yeah, it's one of those quagmires. That's why I'm always like, it's one of those things where I'm like, if you want to read the Marvel G1 comics, make sure that the version you're getting is one of the versions that has the full run, because sometimes they have the rights to her, sometimes they don't, so sometimes they have to skip those issues.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like,
so
the reason that I always plug... Okay, continue.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I always plug IDW's classics reprints of the Marvel comics. They're the ones with black covers and, like, a single G1 guy on them, like Optimus and Bumblebee. Because those ones are the ones that are guaranteed to have all the issues in them. They even have, like, the Spider-Man issue. So, you know, if you're tracking down reprints.
All right, so let's do a quick 1-minute rundown of each team. Let's first go with TF Johnny's with Predaking and Metroplex from G1, Victory Saber, 6-shot from IDW, Megatron that transforms into the Stealth Bomber, and Bulkhead from Prime, and Michael Bay. And Iceman's, Bludgeon, God Neptune, which is Beast Wars Seacons, Galvatron from Beast Wars Neo, Megatron is from Cyberverse, Barricade from War from Cybertron, King Grimlock from IDW, and Circuit Breaker. So let's try
Bludgeon's the samurai guy, isn't he?
Yep.
Skeleton, yeah.
Yeah, master of Metallicado, so he knows martial arts. He got to be the Decepticon leader for a while near the end of Marvel, but though it was a bit of a power vacuum situation because so many people were like dead at that point. Real ruthless guy, real strong guy. He's not like combiner level threat, but he's like a strong normal sized guy basically. Gosh, okay, so Predaking, probably one of the more powerful combiner teams. Everybody knows Metroplex, he can stomp on a guy. Victory Saber is Star Saber and Victory Leo put together, so that's full anime hero burning justice power. 6-shot the living weapon. Stealth Bomber Megatron, he's got a railgun, but he's just Megatron that can fly, which is, not a bad thing to be. It's just, it's a Megatron. Prime Bulkhead, one of Jess's favorites. The Wrecker, who's also a skilled mechanic and who's big and lumbering, but also really strong. And then, how do you rank Michael Bay's power level in terms of something like this?
Well, he can write out anything G1. He can just automatically write out. So that's a pretty powerful.
I think at this point
he's a reality.
Wait,
he's a reality warper, and things stop making sense the closer you get to him.
The less logic there is around him.
It's a borderline like a god.
The basic laws of editing and continuity don't seem to be making sense anymore.
No.
Now I'm just thinking about how many times in the movies did a character just suddenly stop appearing when their narrative was over, to the point where it caused continuity problems, like how Wheelie just kind of vanishes towards the end of Revenge of the Fallen. So I'm trying to fight Michael Bay, suddenly be like, oh, where's the third guy we were with? He's just gone.
Yeah, there's like a handful
just stuff
of
like that.
And he's going to take your money too. So
yes.
Yeah. He's like, and I'm going to call in the U.S. Army, and because I'm trying to promote them, they're going to be stronger than everybody here. Go! And there's an American flag behind them.
Boobs and booms. Booms being explosions. Yeah. It's his style of directing.
I mean, if we want to talk about narrative momentum, putting both Michael Bay and Victory Saber on the same team means you have both Western and Japanese narrative protagonist power in your pocket,
All right, and let's look at Iceman's lineup.
Okay, so Bludgeon, ultimate kung fu guy with a sword. God Neptune, which is the Seacons by any other name, and it's a team of 5 space pirates. Galvatron's a real strong guy. When he's awake, he tends to be comatose a lot because his power level is so extreme. When he wakes up, it's like an event. He's a drill tank and a dragon triple changer.
Well, I think since he's not here, I remember him specifically focusing on when he reappears in Neo as the energy form of Unicron. It's not as powerful as
possessing his body.
But yeah, so it's sort of you got on the one extreme you have it that he has his body hijacked by Unicron of all things to be used by, but in Beast Wars 2nd, most of the time he's knocked the F out. Because he's I drank too much energy. Energon, I'm comatose. I got a food coma.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Steven, you look like you're like in the Blair
yeah,
Witch
but that-
Project or something.
Yeah, I'm walking around my block one time.
I'm just worried we're gonna see something in the background, and then you just
It's like, Steven, there's something coming for your ass.
He was just there.
All right, next is Megatronus from Cyberverse.
Does that mean we'll be a
Yeah,
witness?
that's the Megatron that won. That's the one from a dimension where, you know, he beat Optimus, the Decepticons won, he stole the Matrix, and then he went multiversal traveling. So I rank him as being the same idea as Stealth Bomber Megatron. He's a Megatron variant, you know? And then Barricade from War for Cybertron, the video game, who just got a brand new figure. He's a normal Decepticon. He's like a standard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then King Grimlock from IDW. I mean, it is just a way of him having G1 Grimlock there, because that story is just G1 Grimlock gets sent to a fantasy realm and, like, you know, cleans up because he's a big dinosaur guy. Like it's like meant to be kind of a Dungeons and Dragons riff, but he does come from like a G1 adjacent universe, so it is very much just
I have this mental
G1
image.
Grimlock.
Let's say if Image picked up the Transformers license, and this is kind of spinning off King Grimlock, if he popped up in I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young, that would be insane. But that would be hit on both the violence and the goofiness Grimlock can be. That would be the perfect, like, random ass series for him, Grimlock specifically to cross over with, because it would get the whole spectrum of his character.
Yeah. We still don't know who's got the license. And nobody's talked about having the Transformers license, so who knows?
As long as it's not Disney.
Okay.
And
Amen.
Yeah. So Circuit Breaker is a human who has this pattern of, like, electrical circuits all over her body, and the whole thing is, like, first of all, she can do, like, the typical superhero thing and fly and shoot energy because of, I don't know, like, magnetic fields or something. But also she can overload, like, Transformers and render them unconscious and inert with electromagnetic blasts. Like, so she's basically a living EMP, basically. They didn't use that term back then, but, like, in terms of, like, how she works in Marvel, like, yeah, she's an EMP, like, as a person, basically. And also she really hates the Transformers because she only is like this because she got paralyzed in an attack by Shockwave, and the circuits that she built around herself let her move again, so she's like, I'm going to destroy every robot constantly, no matter what.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and Sheba Kobe provides some helpful exposition. Megatron X was the Dimension Hopper from Cyberverse. Megatronus was just the guy on RID 2015 that Bumblebee and the gang had to fight, who was voiced by Buck Rogers. Yeah, like, we were talking about this when Calvin was here, and we could never get straight what exactly was being discussed, because there was no Megatronus on Cyberverse. So I'm like, I presumed he was talking about Megatron X, the Dimension Hopper, unless he's talking about Megatronus from RID 15, which is something else.
Voiced by Lee Majors, you mean?
I don't know. I'd need to look that up. Buck Rogers, eh? Let me check that real quick.
That'd be interesting if Lee Majors did a Transformers voice, actually.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I feel like that's not the case, or I would have heard about it.
Jill Gerard. Yes. I remember that. I barely remembered watching it when I was younger.
Yeah, barely, but man, I watched a lot of Fall Guy.
Yes, a lot of Fall Guy. All right, well, now we know a rundown of both teams, so let's go vote between TF Johnny and Iceman.
Laugh it up.
Sound like you just heard a cat go.
Yeah, Jess dropped something very far behind me, and yeah,
Oh dear.
okay,
I thought that
Jill
was
Gerard.
ToyWarp.
It's just chaos
Yeah,
happening.
an American actor who is perhaps best known as the titular hero of the Buck Rogers in the 25th Century television series from the late 1970s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Anthony, I missed it. What was it?
Megatronus in that show was voiced by Jill Gerard, or Gil Gerard, I guess. Yeah, Gilbert Gerard, who is best known as the titular hero of the Buck Rogers in the 25th Century series from the late 1970s. And so he voiced Megatronus in a Transformers show at one point.
I thought Lee Majors was on that show.
No, they almost look alike.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't think so, but I'm on the wiki, so let me type in Lee Majors and see if we get any hits.
Shiba Kobe says, I watched a ton of Buck Rogers back in the day.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Buck Rogers. Wasn't that the evil Tom Selleck guy?
The evil Tom Selleck guy is the space captain from. He's on somebody's team here.
Right, from season 3.
What's his name? Dirk something or other.
Yeah.
We were like, that's a
Diggler,
name.
yeah.
Yeah, Dirk Manus, yeah.
Anthony,
I was like, it was something like that.
Yep.
Anthony and Spin, I sent you pictures of kind of like what Anthony did with his Tarn just now, all loaded up with guns and stuff. I sent you pictures of Skytread from Siege, all gunned up. It's like some big crazy gunship on acid.
Yeah.
Oh, where did you send out Instagram?
Yeah, I sent that to both of you just now. Might be worth a chuckle. I call that like Transformers Jenga, just putting as many crazy guns as you can. And I have a lot more seed stuff, post seed stuff now, so I could probably put more guns on it now. Since Earthrise and Onward came out since then.
Yeah, my thing is, after I completed the Power Dashers, these are the guys that I pretty much use whenever I want to weapon up people. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I was surprised I had the not the Generation Selects, the old BotCon lift ticket. And he has a lot of 5mm ports, and I combined him with the Tree Power Dashers, and I have a post of him all armored up using them in different ways.
So I'm really glad they made a new lift ticket so that I didn't have to pay BotCon prices. The only BotCon thing I have is depth charge there because they overproduced him so much that you can get them really cheap.
Yeah,
on the
I've seen that.
Yeah,
places in person.
I got him for the same price as a normal deluxe. He was loose, but he cost as much as a retail deluxe on card, and I was like, that's a good deal. And it's the only guy you can find for cheap because here he is. They made so many of him because he was the free subscription figure. If you had a subscription to the club, you got him for free in the mail. So everybody had one. And then they also decided they were going to make a run of them for sale regularly and sell them at BotCon so that David Sobolov could sign them. And nobody was interested in this, so they just wound up with overstock and overstock and overstock of this one figure, who's great, by the way, good tooling, good colors. It's just they made so many of him that you can get him on the aftermarket for a song, and every other BotCon figure costs hundreds of dollars.
I actually got my BotCon. I was just looking it up on my prior eBay purchases. I got my BotCon lift ticket for $60.
Dang, that's good. I mean, I guarantee that the reason you can get it for $60 is because they made the Generation Selects one, so now nobody's interested in the old version.
Honestly, I think the older version's better because I mean, especially with him. Because I mean, I just feel like it makes him more unique, and I want to get like the what was it? The Trilling Turdy Trail Breaker, Trail Cutter, whatever they called him in Trail, and paint him blue to be my whatever DK Breaker or whatever he is. So I have both versions of that.
3 Breaker.
So I have both versions, both the with the hatchback and without the hatchback versions of that mold. Just like I already got Hoist and was it Trailbreaker for the Earthrise versions of that mold, and I was like, I don't need 2 more of it, but I like to have the characters and that. I like that. It's a nice mold, that Trilling Turdy mold. Because I mean, I was surprised about when I got it in hand. There's so many like 5. It's like a Siege figure with the amount of ports that are on it that you can use to plug guns and weapons and armor in.
Yeah, I know certain people that are sort of Transformers historians. They pointed out that the 5mm ports thing goes all the way back to like Microman pre-Transformers, so it's one of the oldest gimmicks. And people have like picked up old Microman stuff and interfaced it with Siege things and been like, these toys that are like 40 plus years apart work with each other because it's just kind of a timeless gimmick that'll just constantly function.
Okay, so for the last round, so all the votes are in, and Johnny won the round.
Avenge me, my DMV brother.
It's the worrying presence of Michael Bay that it's causing problems.
Okay, so so very quickly.
I'm sorry. Are we boring you?
No, I've been tired this last week, so.
I figured he was getting bored about working on them wind chimes he's working on.
Yeah.
Andrew's gonna start listening to the audiobook for it, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Because I was literally thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I'm never going back to that book. I had to listen to children do a gangbang in the sewers one time too many.
One time too many, as in more than
God.
Oh, talk about being demonetized. Jesus.
Yeah, they make the
this
joke
is literary
about that
references
in the
to Stephen King's It.
Was it epic rap battle between It and the Joker? The Joker's like, you need a little less 13 and a lot more PG in your movies there, It. You giggling sewer ginger. There's also a Michael Bay, and he's like against Steven Spielberg, John Hitchcock, Kubrick, a bunch of famous directors, and an epic rap battle. And like Michael Bay pops up and it's like, it's all about mother effing money!
Alright, so I'm going to see if we can quickly go through the winners of the final round. I'm just looking for that one tool to bring all the names together. No.
The hell?
There we go.
Bobby, what the hell?
Okay, so as we go through this round, let's see. We're gonna try to take 2 minutes at most as we go through each round here.
So, yeah, in other words, ToyWarp, stop asking questions about everyone who's not G1.
Had some Uber Eats stop in front of my house, and I was like, what's going on? There's a strange person pulling up in front of my house. Must be for one of my neighbors.
Right. So
Oh yeah, I know why I'm tired. They had alliance in charge of an alliance and Transformers Forge to fight, and we did a lot better than we did last weekend. We didn't make it past the first round, score enough points to make it into the second round last weekend, whereas this weekend we got in the second round and the round after that. And I think there's 4 rounds total, so I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be nice, and because I'm the leader, I'm going to make sure everybody has a good time with it. But next weekend, on next Friday, on my birthday, it's like, you guys save that final boss for me to kill, because it's my birthday. That's going to be your birthday present to me. But I've been letting them get the final guard so they can have fun getting more fights in. And it's only like 18 team members, so it's not too crazy. It's just, it starts at like maybe 15 minutes to 7, so it's like, it goes in late night.
The main character from Dexter narrates the book. No.
I can hear Jess's opinions in the background. She is going off about something.
Yeah, she's a book person, so she is talking about books with our friend Andrew.
Cool. All
right.
Okay. So now we've got a ToyFax versus Magnus of Optimus Prime, Rodimus Prime, Fortress Maximus, and from G1, Volcanicus, Tarn, Soundblaser from G1, and Gort, the Headmaster to Highbrow, and then in Magnus.
What a strange choice.
Hound, Bombshell, all G1, Thundercracker, IDW, Gigawatt, Megatron from G1, and Chase from G1.
Nobody.
Optimus, Rodimus, Fortress Maximus, Volcanicus, Tarn,
RJ Eagle says, "Oh yeah, we're going to the 4th round."
Computron, Hound, Bombshell, Thundercracker.
Okay, the fantastic double primes.
Now, I would say for these final rounds, since we've already gone through like all the details of most of these characters, if you feel like voting right away from which side you think is the winning side, you can go ahead and vote now.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta pull up my notebook. Homework. Damn it. Who is it? I'm not drunk, I promise. I'm just sleepy. What was it? ToyFax and Magnus. ToyFax and Magnus. Ooh, yeah, so I had them like only 0.1 points away from each other.
So it really is a matter of opinion then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had Magnus as 4.4 and ToyFax at 4.3 with the little scoring system I came up with. I think I had ToyFax for 2 leaders, Magnus is 1, whereas ToyFax had 1 base bot. I can't remember who it was. Like somebody that doesn't turn into a transport. It's like a city bot. And Magnus didn't have a base or transport bot. Their combiners are the same type of size, like your average 5, 6, whatever. Magnus had what? Was it Magnus that had the Scourge, the 86 G1 Scourge?
No.
Or was it? The Insecticon Bombshell, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What I realized what I was thinking. It was the Transformers Escape miniseries, which was IDW 2.0, where I think all of them can clone, and that's why I was thinking. Because for me, that's like the most like Insecticon-based fiction I enjoyed the most is that miniseries. So that kind of clouded my memory of the G1 because you guys said what was it, Kickback that did the clone, or was it Shrapnel?
Yeah. I don't know. I was always under the impression that it was all of them that could do that.
I think it was all of them, but I do like going back. I believe it may have been Shrapnel from what I can remember image-wise.
Yeah, but could he clone the other two as well?
Yeah, was it like Shrapnel that cloned on their behalf, or was it even if Shrapnel wasn't there, Kickback and Bombshell could do it without him, or would he require having Shrapnel there to do it?
Yeah, it almost seemed like Shrapnel was in charge of it, but yeah, it's a good question.
Though the well-known fan theory that people sometimes have that the Insecticons that were dumped out of Astro Train were Insecticon clones, which is like a very well-known sort of accepted thing, is dependent on all three of them being clones. So that means all three of them can be cloned.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so I'm like, maybe only one of them can make clones, but they all can hypothetically be cloned.
So, okay.
What's the guy?
So actually, I think I'm just missing one more vote, and then we'll determine who's winning this round, and then we'll quickly get to the next one.
Darkmount was a major character in that Transformers Escape miniseries as well, because they were trying to use his ships to help get refugees from other cultures off the planet, and he was like, my people come. He was basically acting like Donald Trump, like America first, but whatever his city was called, he's like, yeah, my city first, then you guys, then the colonists from other planets.
They were definitely setting something up there that they didn't get to finish before the series ended, because they made a big deal out of him losing a bunch of his resources before he leaves. So they were like, this is going to end poorly.
Okay, so in this round, ToyFax won.
All right. It's the Fantastic Double Primes. That's what does it. By the way, I keep saying that because there was an episode of
he had G1, Rodimus, and Optimus, right?
Yeah. There was a tiny sliver of time where Optimus Prime and Rodimus Prime were active at the same time, and they were the ones that saved the day, so they called that episode the Fantastic Double Primes. That's why I keep calling it that.
Okay.
Or because it was Japan, it was the Fantastic Double Convoys. But,
wow.
Big convoy!
By the way, here's a crazy weaponized Tarn. I gave him platform shoes because he has ports down there for some reason. So.
I like how they always think having those platform shoes is somehow going to give them more battle power. I guess if they kick someone with them, then it'd be like I'm doing a rocket power kick or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like he's got rockets back here, so maybe that is why. He just fly forward at a dangerous speed.
Yeah, I know the Dr. Ito in Battle Angel, he has like a rocket-powered hammer, and he tears some cyborgs up with that thing, so I guess there's something to be said about having rocket power any sort of weapon.
Alright, so now one more round. ToyWarp versus Charlie. So, and again, we know their characters, so we won't get too in-depth with with the details. So, but I mean, it's
a round I can stay sitting down for.
Like, that's the best round.
Now you gotta go vote.
Yeah.
Well, like, it doesn't matter if you vote or not, because I mean, like, it's a mutually assured destruction thing. If both of you vote, the assumption is you're going to vote for yourself, so it's like neither of you voted anyway. Unless you start playing head games and convincing the other person to vote for you, and you'll vote for them, and then you don't.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Alright, oof, this is such a difficult one.
5.
Nightbird, Abominus.
Yeah, I remember before I found out if he meant if ToyFax Warp meant comic or cartoon. What was it? Shockwave and Grimlock, I think.
Yeah, comic.
Yeah, because I mean they're so different because they actually become leaders, especially Shockwave in the comics versus the cartoon where he's just sort of like Megatron.
Sorry?
Regardless of who actually wins the encounter, I want to see Murder Prime fight War for Cybertron Grimlock because they're both rage monsters. So like, that would be quite the matchup.
Yeah, there's a. If you ever seen like Netflix, the Sweet Home, there's this like muscle-bound monster that's like protein, and you'd be running around just wrecking shit. That's how I imagine those two, just Optimus, Bay Prime, and High Moon Grimlock just running after each other while going protein, or I guess it'd be Energon. I didn't need to come up with a second season of that show since it left off on a cliffhanger. I guess I could look up the online comic and read ahead, but...
Okay, so all the votes are in, and for this round, Charlie won.
All right.
Okay, so let me get the last round, and then for that final round, we're going to have all three versus each other.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's a three-way thing?
Mexican standoff. Mexican standoff. It's too bad this isn't Cinco de Mayo. That'd be like, eh. Okay, who's the last two? That's it.
I'm sitting here trying to transform punch. I think I need fingernails to do it, and I ain't got no fingernails.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess
Professor do this thing. If Devastator fights Abominus, who does ToyWarp have to fight? Have to fight Tripticon.
I wouldn't be fighting anybody. I lost that round.
Tarn's legs can bend really far, so it gives him like real goblin energy. Because of how spindly they are. I just picture these like pitter pattering really quickly running up on you.
Oh dear.
I'm a trash gremlin. So what were the last two? I didn't hear Spin Sam.
Cyclonus and TF Johnny, which I will have on the screen in a moment. There we go. So this is this is the lineup for Cyclonus and TF Johnny. So again,
we're really in it now.
Yeah, we know who they are. So cast your votes for these two these two teams.
I need to think on this for a second. Jeez.
Yeah, there's a couple of powerhouse fights going on here.
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
Okay.
Oh, got my age.
Yeah, I would just like to last time, despite making fun of Michael Bay, I did not use him as the deciding victor in that fight, so I wasn't even counting that.
Someone in here is voting for 2 people, so you gotta pick one.
Fuck it. Now I'm curious, what if we account for who they fought already? So strength, how weak they are. Because that would change the fight choices a lot if you do that.
True. Well, I think we'll go with the assumption.
Okay, I'm going to go with that logic then. I'm going to go with... No, I'm going with my choice of... I can justify if it's okay, who do you... in a fighting game, if you're playing with one energy bar, and it's a survival mode, I'm thinking of it like that. I'm not thinking it like a fighting game where you reset your energy every fight you get into. So, Yeah. I'm going to support my fellow DMVer.
Michael Bay will tip the scales for sure. Professor
Michael Bay will pop out of Cyclonus' phone or computer, kick him in the balls, give him a clothesline, and a Stone Cold Stunner and a bunch of other wrestling moves, and then laugh, steal all of Cyclonus' G1 toys, and sell them to make some random movie.
Yeah. And Professor D says Netflix specification is not irrelevant. In G1, he is combiner size. In Netflix, he is Titan class, or as big as, or bigger than Metroplex.
It's true. I wasn't thinking of it that way. I was thinking of him as Titan size, but I forgot that he wasn't Titan sized in the cartoon. I'm just so used to every figure of him being roughly whatever the Titans are in that line.
Mm-hmm.
The original Mega Supreme's as big as Metroplex, so I was like, oh yeah, so he's a Titan, obviously. Yeah, also he changes into a base, so that automatically makes me think of him as being in that league already.
Okay. Well, Professor D said, also Liar Kaiser outnumbers Predaking.
Is he looking at because now if you're going by Siege Omega Supreme, then he has that little Micromaster too, so that's an extra little support he comes with. And then with G1 Skylinks with the original toy, it doesn't turn into a rocket base like the Earthrise toy, correct? There's just the rocket ship, and then the 2 beast form halves, and then their Chimera form.
Right.
So I can knock a point off. Yay! I mean, half a point. So... I'm trying to not be salty and just totally chef Cyclonus at a personal vendetta.
One point I'm just remembering from IDW, Six Shot was destroyed by Metroplex specifically. Metroplex literally stepped on him because he's like a Titan in IDW. That's how he wound up meeting his end.
No, 6, 5, 8.
Yeah, something I tend to keep in mind if I know this about a character is I'm like, if they died, how did they die? What finally took them down? That's something I've been keeping in my head when I think about these guys, you know? Because that's objectively what level of threat is needed to take them out, you know?
Right.
Okay. And since Cyclonus was the first person I had written down.
And Professor D says, and I need to say that Nestor beats the ish out of Bay.
Shit out of Michael Bay.
Nestor?
Yeah,
I feel like that IDW Megatron is smart though.
Oh, the mechanic, okay.
Especially that self bomber Megatron, because he managed, even from prison, he manages to regain control of Cybertron. So he's like mad strategy skills and then shit shots like basically like Saiyan Saga Vegeta when he destroys a whole planet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could beat the shit out of Michael Bay because Michael Bay bore him to death on why you can have sex with minors.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was what, Age of Extinction? Where he pulls out like the Pacific Park of the Law or something?
Yeah, and then some YouTube channel, they debunked it. It's not even true.
Kind of makes you wonder about Michael Bay that he included that in there.
Yeah, that's the longest of the Bay movies. Like, I remember watching that scene, on DVD and being like, you could have easily edited that out. There's a natural break, you know, like the scene would have flowed fine without it. He just your movie is like 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Delete some things like that. Not even on the grounds that it's offensive, just on the grounds that I'm like, compress it a little.
Right. Yeah, they both got weeaboo action. Like Johnny has Victory Saber and Cyclonus has Leo Kaiser for their senpai.
Well,
now you're just making up words.
That's like Japanese. It's just some like upperclassmen. They're just, you see it in anime. So basically, I was implying that they both have their anime side of the to their teams. Is what I was getting at.
Oh, the votes are in, and TF Johnny won that round.
Yay, I've been avenged!
Yes, the Michael Bay side won.
Damn it!
Good lord, can he be stopped? He should be stopped.
Michael Bay must be stopped, no matter the cost.
See, I was a little disappointed that we don't get to see Murder Prime versus Michael Bay, but then I'm also like, Michael Bay's like, I made you. You belong to me.
Imagine Michael Bay is walking in with a Unicron cosplay, and he is like, has like Murder Prime bowing to him. It's like, you are my god, I must listen to everything you say. And he's just quoting Unicron.
Unicron is. He directed The Last Night. I guarantee you he still doesn't know who Unicron is.
Yeah.
This is
like, there's so much. Well, isn't the joke is that Barricade, he'll like disappear, or he supposedly gets killed, like where did he disappear to at the end of every movie? He just kind of disappears, and then it's like, oh, next movie, oh, okay, he's back, so he didn't die. There's a few characters that like that, really.
Where is Barricade?
Probably still alive. He was last seen at Stonehenge in The Last Night, and then he just stopped appearing. Again, you know, that weird power Michael Bay has.
I forgot my continuity.
Barricade keeps incredibly surviving these movies because he keeps vanishing when things get serious. You could turn that into a character trait if I thought it was deliberate, but I don't think it was.
No,
he just always leaves when things are going south, I guess.
Or I remember in like the IDW 2.0, I remember that being like a big plot point of like, well, where did Barricade go? It's like, oh, he's with the before they become Decepticons. What did he call them? Like the Decenticons or something? The episode
Rise.
Yeah, but I mean, it's sort of like the same vibe. Like his Barricade just sort of like ups and leaves, like prowling them, and it's like, where the hell did he go? Bumblebee, while he's undercover, finds him. He's like, "Oh, that's where that asshole went."
RJ Eagle says, "I'm surprised Vector Sigma isn't in this competition." Which Professor
no gods.
Replies, before Cybertron was, I was.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, no gods. That's why.
Oh,
yeah.
this is. This one needs special consideration because this is a hell of a triple showdown.
Yeah, this is basically like a 1984 WWF. Just everyone in the line.
They still have the SummerSlam. I saw one of those one time. This is one of those.
Charlie.
It's a cage match, so anyone with any special skills can't just warp out of the cage. Like all these characters are locked in.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah, this is quite a battle.
Yeah, if I'm going by logic like Commander Spock and my math, then it would be Charlie. If I'm going by the power of the friendship like a weeaboo, anime fan, then I would go with TF Johnny because he's a fellow DMVer.
And if you go by narrative power, ToyFax, because he has multiple protagonists on his team. So they all have strong arguments.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, since I put my biases out there, now I'm going to try to chop up my biases and okay, how did I write it in that? Spin,
Be sure to bury the bodies.
There it goes. So, ooh. Oh yeah, remember how I was wondering how Tarn would narratively? So I was thinking, what if, because I'm trying to think, is it IDW 1.0 where Whirl kind of is one of the reasons, or was it Impactor or somebody like that beat the crap out of minor Megatron and kind of motivated for him to give him that last little push to become a Decepticon? So
Yeah,
I imagine Tarn. Figures Twirl's an asshole. It's so imagine. It's I could see Tarn obviously there's the sticking to the cause size of justice, and then I could see if you had some sort of renegade Autobot, whether because they become possessed by Unicronian energies, or it's the Dinobots in some continuities when they go totally bloodlust. And they just kill a bunch of Decepticons in a really not warlike way, more like a terrorist act. I could see Tom being hey, one of your guys, he goes up to Optimus and Rodimus, one of you guys killed a bunch of, not even in an honorable warfare type ways. It's just an act of wanton destruction or terrorism. And having Tarn convinced, hey, you two, to bring your guy to be just if I could see Tarn calling out Optimus and Rodimus, if one of us, a Decepticon, did what your guy did, you'd be after his ass. So no double standards. So I could see that could be a way I could see that happening, narratively speaking.
I'm going to just interrupt and say an act of wanton destruction is when I tear into some Chinese soup.
The hell
act of destruction, what happens after you eat Taco Bell.
That too.
So was it ToyFax, Johnny, and Charlie? Yeah, I can see where you're going with the narrative. Okay, let's pick King. Let's see, they're combiner winning. Gort. The human. So let me think. I'm
gonna listen to my heart. To break this
and which is that? And what's that? Come This ain't a birthday witch.
Well, I think all the votes are in for this very final.
Has everybody voted?
I quasi-voted? What the hell was it?
Oh,
Charlie.
you haven't actually decided.
Charlie. Where the fuck did I write Charlie? Oh, there he goes.
He's right there, bro.
I'll just stick with my math. I'll just stick with the math. Since I feel like I need to be fair, since I kind of gave Cyclonus a shaft against TF Johnny. Now it's like, yeah, I just feel like I have a personal vendetta when I chose Johnny over Cyclonus. So I need to at least go back to my math at least once to balance the scales of justice, like my version of Tarn. So if I was going by the math, what did I say? I think I said Charlie.
Personal vendetta. It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if I was going
He's
by
not
my
above
math,
being
it would
petty.
be Johnny.
That's a new record for him.
Shit. I've been surprised by how well I handle being in charge of an alliance and that Transformers Force of Fight, because when I used to play an MMO before, I was basically the equivalent of a ball hog, and I literally got kicked out of a guild because I was so competitive. It pissed all the other team members off, except for like the few that I was like super close friends with. And then eventually they ended up having their team join with the team I joined up with anyhow, so it worked out anyhow. I was like, yes, I was right in the long run. Ha 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 ha.
Well, all the votes are in. And so I will say, so out of the three, so unfortunately Charlie is not in there out of the three.
Oh.
So that leaves between ToyFax and Johnny. And between the two of them, ToyFax won.
Ooh.
Congrats.
So you get to watch G1 Optimus defeat Michael Bay as one of the many things that happens there, I guess.
Yeah, just have like G1 Optimus and Rodimus throw Monkey in the middle with
yeah.
Michael Bay in the middle, and then I don't know, whatever it is they're passing back and forth, he just falls on top of Michael Bay and crushes him to death.
I'll now that's all I know. I admit I finally decided to vote for ToyFax at the end just because, you know, Rodimus Prime / Hot Rod is one of my favorite characters, and I'm like, all right, I'll go with that. Even there's a human one on the other one, but I'm gonna go with Robot Rodimus. That's why I was like, listen to my heart as the tiebreaker. So I want the one with my guy on it to win.
There you go.
That's only because I couldn't decide between the three of them, because that was a very, very close matchup, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the tiebreaker.
Yeah. It was a good round, so I know we'll do it once again in the future. So it is 10:40 our time, and
Yeah.
I think we should be wrapping up soon. But before that, let's say ToyWarp, what do you have coming up for this week?
Unfortunately, I'm still running short on time because of work. So the ToyWarp channel isn't getting much, but watch for all the shorts I've been doing on Cruisers Motorsports. That's where all my subscribers actually have been coming from lately, is the shorts on Cruisers. So thanks for finally showing me how to do all that. But yeah, that's what I got going.
Cool. Yeah, the shorts are pretty fun. You know, when you have time to do them, because I'm in that same boat. Whereas the time and and creativity, they don't always play hand in hand.
Well, I luck out with Cruisers over there because all I got to do is film like a car at the junkyard, and it gets like 5,000 views. So
Really?
yeah, it's I couldn't believe one of the shorts hit like 11,000 views, and it did so in like 3 days. I'm like, wow! I just really wish the videos I actually put work into, like the where I met Bigfoot, where I actually went to the headquarters and to Bigfoot headquarters and met Bigfoot. That's like my crown jewel video. I think it's at like 2,200 views and it's over a year old. But I just filmed some random truck at a junkyard and it gets 11,000 views. Kidding me.
Well,
Heck, at least it's within your interest. Like, I have a random... I was making fun of some Jurassic World toy where it's like the blue Velociraptor with like 6 tailpipes coming out of it, and I was like, I did so much pain. Why did he do this to me? And I was just like making goofy voice while I'm shopping, window shopping at the Myers, and that's like one of my most viewed posts on Instagram. And it's not even a Transformer related thing, so it's not even my main thing.
You never know.
Yeah,
I might have had synergy with like when the movie was about to come out, so that might have been. I think that was part of it too. I can't really remember. I didn't see that the last one of them of the most recent one. So,
well, ToyWarp,
Yeah.
I would say with the Bigfoot, I mean, what some people do is take older videos and take snippets from that, turn those into shorts too.
You know,
Yeah,
I
a lot
tried
of
that with a
Twitch
couple of
streamers
the
do
Summer
that.
Drive. I tried that with a couple of the Summer Drive videos where I was doing just like burnouts with some of the old muscle cars I was driving for some of those videos. And while the shorts got a lot of videos, I noticed an increase of 10 views on the actual video itself. And it's not like they're like extra long or anything.
Right.
You know, I mean, I just made it long enough to get it monetized. At the time, it was only like 8 minutes. So usually there are only 8 to 10 minutes of showcase of a particular car. But yeah, I just put up like the burnout of you know, like doing the burnouts in the muscle cars as the short video, and then, you know, said recommended video, watch the whole video here, and hardly anything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, once we all figure out the YouTube algorithm,
Right.
Yeah. I had something like that happen to me on Twitter. You know, I'm always promoting stuff. And there was one prompt going around where it was like, you know, everybody always talks about all the weird comic retcons that make no sense. Talk about one that you like. And then I was like, you know, Beast Wars invented the spark, and then everything picked it up afterwards because it was such a good idea, including the comics. And they retconned it back into Marvel and the G1 cartoon and stuff.
This is true.
And I was just like, oh, whatever. I just threw that out there. And that was a few weeks ago, and like as of like yesterday, I'm still getting notifications that people are like retweeting and liking that. So somehow that took off, despite anything else.
Nice.
And so I did what you're supposed to do, and I was like, you know, added replies to it, being like, here's all my stuff. Here's the links. Go look at it. since people are retweeting this, you know, that's what you do. So you never, chasing the algorithm is pointless because you never know what's going to be a hit, so you might as well be doing the stuff you enjoy. That's how I look at it.
Chase your creativity, not the algorithm.
Yeah.
Charlie, any upcoming anything upcoming in the mail or anything that you got going on for this week coming?
No. I just recently picked up the new movie. Today, actually.
Oh yeah, movie Optimus, yeah.
Yep.
Just in advance of the movie.
One. Yeah, and that's about it, really. I've got something on.
Yeah, it's like
I have it.
It's like I don't know how deep I'm gonna go with it, but like outside of that little RC I got, I'm like I'm not getting any movie stuff till I actually see the movie. I just like flat refuse, even though a lot of it looks really nice.
Yeah, I hear you. Some of it's just tiny, like the size of them.
Yeah,
I know without seeing the movie, I like the mainline Rhinox and Air Razor more than the Studio series. Yeah. And then Cheetor, I like the Studio series better, and then Primal, I don't have an opinion of either way.
Yeah, so many of these guys, because of the weird like delay in the movie, they're getting mainline and studio figures at once, so everybody's got 2 versions, and you get to pick which one you like better.
So over to Steven. So what do you have?
Make sure that car doesn't run over you.
Yeah.
I heard it already, motherfucker.
Just gonna hear that car get louder, or just gonna hear it be like, "Ah!" and then it cuts off.
Crunch, crunch.
So
Still what?
Coming up for this week.
I know art stuff wise, I don't know what's going on this week. I mean, this Tuesday. So if I don't get any, I might post some sort of work in progress. I don't know if it's going to be sculpture, painting, or what I'll be doing Tuesday. If anything, I got like a bunch of photography I need to post to that September Arts that I've been sitting on, and I need to do my bread and butter photography wise. Like I did a bunch of dance photography, so maybe I'll start posting to that portfolio Instagram that I have 3 posts that none of them are dance photography. And it's supposed to be a dance photography portfolio. So maybe I'll start on that this week. I know I got a bunch of Transformer stuff, especially since was it Forge the Fights come back, so some of the little interesting like character changes they made with the story, because they don't have the Bayverse characters now. So like any moments I saw, oh, that's kind of cool, I've been posting those up. I know I posted like the Chromia moments where she's like ripping into some people verbally. So yeah, probably maybe posting to 3 different Instagrams, maybe the main art one and then the dance photography one specifically, and then the boobs and bots one probably for the TF. And normally the artist account and my B&B I've been posting to weekly the last month or so now. So
Right, cool. Fear or courage? What do you have coming up for this week?
Well, I'll tell you, next week I'm looking at this Tarn because I've just been messing with him this whole time. I just gave him another big gun mode. It's fun. There's so many ports on him on purpose. You're supposed to do this. This week is a non-bot review. Like I said, I picked up the remastered Blue Power Ranger after watching the Netflix special.
Go Power Rangers!
Yeah. And I'm like, again, whenever I do this, I'm like, this is from the perspective of a guy who just does Transformers. I don't usually do figures like this, so that sort of underlines the review. And I'm like, what's this line like? These are supposed to be the fancy versions because they're like remastered and they got extra paint and accessories and better sculpts, But yeah, I'm gonna have a look at this guy from my perspective, coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, they got some nice
week,
figures of the random enemies from the Power Rangers. I bought a few of the figures just because I thought they looked cool. That's something I need to post.
I did a little bit of research on. I didn't know nothing about the line, so I did a bit of research before I wrote it up, and I'm like, they go deep. They have some weird, interesting things there. It's not really my thing. I don't see myself getting a lot of this stuff beyond, guys that were in the Netflix special, but I'm like, kudos to them for doing all the weird one-off, like, things and that they do.
Yeah, look up Roxy and Blaze.
Which one was that?
Yeah,
look up Roxy and Blaze.
Oh, He-Man.
He-Man.
Yeah.
Great. So I just wanted a He-Man. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Sounds.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
We're going to see smoke come into the image.
Yeah, how's it feel to have to get up, huh?
Hey, remember when we were asking which figure you'd save from
around
a
the block
house?
for the second time now in a row.
Anyways, so I bought the He-Man, and then I ended up getting Anti-Eternia He-Man.
Oh.
And Fake Core.
Are these vintage guys or are they like reissues?
They're reissue.
Oh yeah, nice.
And I managed to
He
get
Skeletor. Oh yeah, the new guy.
He Skeletor?
Yeah, like he didn't exist before. That's some new concept from like a comic or something, and they made like a retro figure out of it. It's just like Blue He-Man, but like not Faker, like a different Blue He-Man.
I mean, he just looks like a blue version of Lou Ferrigno's Hulk.
The block.
I have to go. My wife is calling the cops. No, not really, but I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Don't worry, I'm going to see you get tackled on camera.
Police, FBI, open up!
Yeah.
Right? All right. Take it easy.
All right.
Later on,
next
Joey.
week.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, I forgot to said that this Friday I'm going to turn 40. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
40.
Yep.
Yeah, there's quite a spread of ages here. I'll just say that several people are like, that's nothing, and several people are like, oh, that's quite far away from where I am.
Well, like I think I might have said how like my niece, her joke is because her dad / my brother is actually younger than me by 3 years, but because he used to, hit the bottle and smoke a lot when he was younger, he looks older. He has a cul-de-sac. He's bald. Me, I got the fixed set of hair. So my niece, with him and me both in the room, she says, "Dad's 36, and Uncle Steven's 39. Daddy looks 46 and Uncle Steven looks 26. And my brother's looking at me like he's going to kill me. I'm like, I didn't encourage her to say this. Don't look at me. It's your child.
Shiva Kobe says, bad boys, what you going to do when the Transformers police come for you?
But it depends on if it's prowl or barricade. That makes a big difference.
Hey, don't forget about Streetwise.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Got to get his protective bots in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Prowl's an asshole, so, I mean, you might be just as screwed if you have Prowl coming to pick you up as much as Barricade, where Streetwise would be like, yeah, if I had to pick one of those three, I'd rather be picked up by Streetwise. He'd be like the most good cop out of the three of them.
I don't know, Streetwise is a loose cannon, too. Like, they don't fully portray that, but between Streetwise and Blades, they're the loose cannons of the Protectobots.
I remember, like, when the original Bay movie came out and seeing a preview of a helicopter that was painted a lot like Blades. I was like, oh, that's going to be Blades. Oh, we're going to have Protectobots. And
Yeah.
disappointment.
Yeah, there was some Transformer movies toy that they painted up in Blades color. It wasn't blackout. It's like some deluxe size figure. I think I got a picture of it saved to on my Instagram somewhere, like my wish list of toys I want to buy from different sections of the Transformer toys.
So Shiva Kobe says, Prowl in the Blastarnik video, Green Energon, is a jerk for sure. And says an epic voice guy.
On a T-Rex.
Well, I think it's time for us to sign off for the evening.
Yeah, I can go to bed.
We'll figure out what the topic is going to be for next week, but I know we're slowly going to be circling around the Rise of the Beast for the next couple weeks. As that's coming out.
I'm gonna go see it just because you guys are seeing it. I don't want to be left out of the conversation. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it's the night that it comes out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, only one more Sunday.
2 Fridays from now.
Technically. Yeah.
2 Fridays from now.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Anthony?
There's only one show between now and then.
Yep.
This is true. All right.
I don't know. Can we review it on the weekend after, or would we be spoiling it for people? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you do a Sunday episode, the movie's been out since Friday. I'm like, look, gonna assume y'all have seen it already.
Just posting like the episode header, like spoiler discussion or something. Kind of like when people play play of video games, and if it's a blind playthrough, they include blind playthrough in the title, so people know not to spoil. So you should be fine as long as you indicate it in the title what type of conversation it is.
That's the plan.
Oh, it's getting cold out here.
All right, and Professor D says, props everybody till all are one. And Shiva Kobe says, cheers, gang. So,
everybody get a Tarn and slap 1,000 weapons on him. It's fun.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have do what I did with that old Skytread and have him be the surfboard for Tarn all gunned up.
Yeah.
So it'll be Tarn with his
Skytread
gunship.
That's funny. So on that note, till all are one until next week.
Till all are
See
gone.
you guys next week.